Who popped in?
Here she comes.
Yeah, why don't we just have Bill call us out? For who we are.
Hey, everybody, this is everybody's
for now. Have Brant call you out or whatever. I'm still trying to get these invites going, and I'm not always looking at the screen. So,
Brant, you're the MC, buddy.
Okay, yeah, give me the.
So yeah, just we're starting this thing down, and everybody's kind of setting up, and we'll get going here in a second.
A restreamer. I cover protests, news, live events, sometimes random funny things. Definitely used a lot of his material over the last couple years, so I just wanted to come and pay my respects as well.
All right, Central.
I am Brian, Central Scrutinizer, former co-host of the Wolf Neve, Wolf Nevi stream for a year. Now I'm kind of a freelancer. I know most of you. I go around on some of your streams. And I'm here. I knew Villain. We talked over the last year about a lot of different political topics and the cities he was in, the things he was going through, and which we aren't going to be bringing up those tonight.
He has body, and I'm a streamer and a restreamer like you guys, just out there trying to spread the news, and I wanted to come here and just show my love and support for Villain, and I'm glad we're doing this, and thank you everybody who's here, showing love to Villain.
All right, moving over to God Rides a Harley.
Hey, thank you. God Rides a Harley. I'm probably the only one here that's actually not a streamer as of yet anyway, and I appreciate the invite. I'm moderator for a few people. I moderate for Tara, moderate for Eddie, I moderate for, not BCP, PT News, and a few others, and I'm just honored to be invited to share this time.
God Rides here because, he's part of the community. He kind of has been watching out for everybody for the longest time. So for everybody and everything supports free speech.
Thanks, Bill.
Tara?
Can you hear me? I'm not
Yes.
using Discord. All right, good.
You for sure. You're good.
I'm Tara Shapansky. My YouTube channel is the Polish American Brotherhood, and I had the pleasure of getting to know Villain this past year and was on his podcast last month. So here to pay my respects and join with everybody.
Alrighty, next up is Squirrels. I see you just joined the room, so maybe you're not up to date on what it is that we're doing.
Yeah, but Squirrels is a little bit shy or whatever. It's
Okay,
a
that's
friend
fine.
of Villains or whatever. So, but
It's all good. It's all good. Moving on to BCP.
What's up, you guys? Quincy Franklin here. As he just said, BCP, or the Black Conservative Preacher, on YouTube, BCP on Twitch, Telegram, Instagram, Rumble, so on, Facebook. I've known Villain for about, year and a half to almost 2 years, and we did quite a bit of traveling, and I'm sure many of you guys probably saw us together, working together out in the field and stuff across the country. So, yeah.
Right on. Mr. Bill?
yeah, I don't think I'll go live. I want to kind of focus on what I'm doing here. So if you guys want to shout my channel out, but anyway, yeah, only Mr. Bill on YouTube and Twitch. I've known Villain for about a year. He's along with BCP and Robert. They're the ones that kind of convinced me to start doing live stream by seeing some of their videos and everything. So want to put this thing together to kind of help highlight Villain's life, basically. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to say as well that I'm thrilled to be a part of this, to be here with a lot of great people that have had the privilege of standing next to Villain, either on the ground as a journalist or as someone who has helped carry Villain's message. I just wanted to say, like, before we get too far into this, I appreciate everybody being here and being a part of this. We were talking about this literally minutes after we found out the news, wanting to get this put together, and I'm just glad everybody showed up. Moving on to Real Black Rebel.
Hi, Chrissy.
Black Rebel, if you want to press the mic button there, you to
And we'll circle back, not to use Jin Saki's language here, but we'll circle back to Free Press. I see you just got in here, and I'm going alphabetically, and we'll come right back to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, so my name is Andrew Duncombe, or Black Rebel. I first met Villain was after when I got stabbed in Portland last year after streaming Antifa. He came and did an interview with me inside of my hotel room, or not hotel, inside the
Hospital, bro.
Yeah, inside the hospital room. And that was the first time I met him. I had been watching his videos. He kind of inspired me to actually go to Portland and start streaming, seeing his videos in Chaz there inside of Seattle, and kind of inspired me to start streaming again and start doing live streams again, and built a friendship with him over went to New York, went to DC, and yeah, it's I guess, yeah. I wish I would have had a chance to talk with him more over the last few months. We hadn't been talking as much as we used to over the last few months, and so I do regret the time that I did get a chance to miss.
Yeah, I share a lot of those same sentiments as well. Let's see. Let's go back to Free Press. We'll go with you and your intro.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Hey, so I go by the name Free Press Media, and I've only talked to Villain 3 times. Unfortunately, it was only 3 times because I would have appreciated to, have talked to him a bit more, maybe get more acquainted with each other. But obviously, with circumstances, that is kind of impossible. And he sort of inspired my getup a bit more because I wasn't really being as anonymous as I should have been. Because, I have certain markings on my body that are identifiable, so he basically sort of inspired me indirectly to cover up a bit better and try to keep myself as unidentifiable as possible. And right now, I mean, how I say this, but right now I'm trying to actually create some patches that say Rest RIP Villain Report, and I'm just trying to give them away for free to anyone that wants them. There's no charge whatsoever. I'm trying to make this all come out of my own pocket because I don't want to profit off of his untimely, demise. And I just want to do this to honor him.
Do you have information where if people wanted to get in touch with you, they could get some of these
Twitter.
stickers or patches? Sorry, my dog. Apologize.
Well, I mean, the best way, honestly, is Twitter, but mainly, if you find me at a rally, you'll find me, and I can hand out some of the patches there because that's probably the best way to do it.
I gotcha. For sure. Just was wondering because people will be asking as soon as you mention it. Let's see what we have here.
The other 2 in the room there are friends of his. If you guys feel comfortable to chat about how you knew him or whatever, you can get more into your meeting later on. Chrysanthemum and Squirrels. I know you're.
I was just giving everybody a chance to kind of for people that are watching that don't know necessarily who you are to the specifics. Maybe you don't have your tag up that you usually go by your brand. Just a chance to be able to personalize an intro for yourself.
And
think
if you don't want to,
now
Yeah.
we're on
I know
common
you guys,
sense. by
you
the way.
I
guys,
don't mind doing it.
all right, go
I
ahead,
don't mind doing a little intro. That's cool.
go for it.
All right, cool. Yeah. So most everybody knows me as Ricky, but I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I met Villain first December 12th in DC, and we had a really great time, and everything was awesome. Part of the scooter gang, all the way, and then back in DC with Villain on January 6th. And then January 7th night, Villain put together like the most incredible candlelit vigil for Roseanne Boylan, Ashley Babbitt, and the two gentlemen that had died. And the videos of it, Villain took down off of his YouTube channel for some reason a while back. But I have a bunch of the videos if anybody wants to see the pictures and the videos of the memorial. It's really, really awesome. And it was cool because like I just felt like, it was just crazy. It was a crazy time and it was just insane. And you know how when you go through like something as traumatic as being there at the Capitol on January 6th and then going back on January 7th at night, basically going past the little barrier or whatever and setting up a vigil and it just, I was able to really bond with Villain. And I regret I've tried messaging him and it's just yeah, that's my intro.
Okay.
Chris, did you want to say anything? All right,
Sure.
So Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, we can do Chrysanthemum. That's good.
Hi, so I'm Chrysanthemum. I was a moderator for Villain on YouTube for quite some time. And I also joined his Discord when he first started it. And so he kind of put me in charge of a lot of things there, vetting people, and we talked every day, if not every other day, in messages in Discord. We had countless hours of overnight Discord voice chats with a small group of people, just talking about the things that Villain loved, like philosophy, all of those types of things that he would sometimes get into in his live streams. So he was a really close friend of mine. I met him in person. I drove down to Spiffy's, which is a restaurant that was getting in trouble for COVID violations and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just glad to be here and be a part of this. And I really miss Villain, and I appreciate this.
You betcha. And before Robert talks, make sure all the people that are restreaming this, let's not do anybody happen or anything like
Right,
that.
exactly.
Robert and Quincy are the only ones that have any information. So please let your chat and moderators know that. Robert, if you don't mind sort of saying what the latest is or whatever, and then we'll just kind of leave it at that as you describe how you know Villain.
All right. So, yeah, I've had a lot of people like already asking questions. A lot of people don't know that Villain has passed away. And I really wanted to make sure that I just kind of cleared it up right off the get-go. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Common Sense Conservative. I've been out doing this stuff for 6 years, back before there was even a Patriot movement. And Villain, well, we'll get into my feelings and all that wonderful stuff on Villain. But I was contacted the day that, as well as Quincy, the day that Villain was found to be deceased. And we do not have a cause of death. That is all in the family's hands. And it's up to the family whether or not they want to disclose the actual cause of death. There really is no point in people speculating. There's really no point in people coming up with their, theories and so on, because we don't know. We don't know how or why he died. That is the facts. I can tell you that his family did come and to his residence, and they got all of his personal effects and personal belongings. But other than that, it really is all in the family's hands, whether or not they want to tell anybody. what his actual cause of death is. We are not, and nobody is going to release his name for the few of us that actually know what it is, because nobody wants his family getting messed with by the tolerant left. And that is something that I hope everybody can respect, and that there's other information that people might not be sharing for that same reason. So hopefully the masses can respect that, and we're telling everybody what we can out of respect for him and his family. So that is that.
That's good. Thank you. Next,
Did you have going ahead?
The next kind of step in this or whatever, I'm thinking, is everybody starting with the close friends of his or whatever, go ahead and kind of talk about what Villain meant to you, how you feel about situation, things like that. Robert, if you want to start that off, since you brought the news and everything, if you want to tell your story.
Yeah.
Or Quincy.
Yeah, I can start. Just so I can get it over with. How much I like talking
Try not to cry too much.
A bunch of people. But no, Villain was a good guy. I had a lot of respect for Villain. I will never forget the first time I sort of met Villain. It was in the middle of a riot in downtown Portland, and I'm watching this dude walking around trying to sell the Louis Vuitton that he just jacked out of a mall. And all of a sudden I see this like tall, skinny dude who didn't really look like he belonged, walking down the street, and I filmed him for a second. I'm like, well, that's different. And he's filming too. And then little did I know that was Villain. I found out a couple months later after I actually met him in person, and he's like, hey, you filmed me. And it was hilarious, because I was like, wow, you're one of those rioter guys. And then we got to know each other. We traveled a lot together. We went to Georgia. Traveling with Villain really, helped me get to know him as a person. When I first met him in person, man, he was an open book. Like, he unloaded. Quincy didn't know what to do with himself, just because he was like, wow, there's all this information coming from this guy that I don't even know. And a lot of it, of course, made Quincy go, wait, what? What'd you say? So, I mean, it was fun. And Villain was, he was a cool cat. Like, he was very, I had a lot of respect for Villain, because he always made you think, because some of the stuff that he would say, or some of the stuff that he was battling in his head, like, his convictions versus all the new information that he learned and everything, like, he'd be like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, where did you come up with some of these ideas? And he's just like, oh, and then he'd explain it to me, and I'm like, okay. I mean, all right, cool. And then we talk about it. Like, we spent 8 hours in a car one time just driving, and it was just back and forth, just talking and talking. And, I didn't always agree with him. A lot of people probably didn't always agree with him, but no matter what, I could always just respect that he was honest. Even if he had this weirdest, craziest idea, like, he could go, but it helped me learn this, help me understand, like, how this is or is not. Like, he would always be down to have a conversation. He would always be down to have a debate about something. And if there was a new theory that came out, he always wanted to talk about it. And he was funny. Like, the most amazing thing, I think, and I'm sure every single person on here is going to talk about this, but you can have tear gas, flashbangs, and rocks being thrown all over you, all around you, and if there's a dog, like, I witnessed this. There's a dog, he will like, oh, hey, cool, don't care about all the cops and the flashbangs and, like, getting shot with a rubber bullet. I'm going to go pet this dog, and I'm going to say hi to it. And I'm like, it was the nuttiest thing I've ever seen. But, I mean, that really was a testament to what and who he was as a person, and wading into the middle of Antifa trying to have a conversation. Like, can you explain to me why you're so dumb? Like, I just want to know, like, what is your everything? Explain this to me. Get me to be on your side. And then, of course, they'd never do it, and they'd assault him and chase him out and everything like that. But he always tried. And, he was a great, he's a role model for a lot of these, like, new up and coming streamers, because, like, people saw what he did and they were like, I want to do that. I want to do what he did. I want to go up and actually like try to maybe bridge that gap a little bit. And you know, he was just an all around great guy, and he will definitely be missed. I mean, I got stories for days. For the last 3 or 4 streams that I've done, I've just, you know, in the middle of it, I'm like, oh, let me tell you the story about Villain, and then I know that it's going to be going on like that for quite some time. And I mean, that's just the kind of guy he was. And Antifa and all those guys can talk all the crap they want to, but all it is denial and deflection, because they really have nothing to complain about when it comes to Villain. Villain has saved more Antifa lives, I think, than any other streamer. Like, I've saved a couple, but like Villain will straight up get in the middle of it and be like, no, leave them alone, and then he'll drag them to safety. And Antifa really has nothing to talk about when it comes to Villain. But that's all I got for now.
Thank you. VCP, you want to go next, and then we'll let the friends of Villain go after you.
Yeah, I remember my first time meeting Villain. It was, I want to say, July 5th. It was a day after here in Portland, where this guy put up American flag where the famous elk statue used to be in downtown Portland. And he had a little rally at the waterfront park, and pretty soon this dude comes in covered from head to toe in all black. And I'm sitting there streaming, and I'm like, okay. And this dude just comes over, takes a seat, and just continues his own thing and streaming. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Never seen it. I'm like, completely Antifa over here, not causing problems and streaming this event. He stays around, starts talking to people, and then he starts interacting with me, and we talk. And that was the beginning of our relationship, our friendship there. And it progressed. And I think what Robert's talking about regarding how I didn't know what to do with Villain. Villain was sitting in this car with me right here in the front seat, and we were meeting. I was going to meet up with Robert and a couple other streamers because there was an event going on at nighttime, of course, in downtown Portland. And so we're going to go stream. Robert gets in the car. I'm like, this is Villain. And Villain starts sharing stuff and, opening up a little bit to us. And I'm looking at Robert like, okay, is he Antifa? Is he not? This is like my first time actually hanging around him. And he's saying some stuff. And like Robert said, he always says things to kind of like make you think or question things, and which is great because, I mean, we've seen that a lot when he would, go interview people and talk to people, go into the midst of Antifa. He's always making people think. He's, making people answer questions, whether it's because of his philosophy or how he thinks or the political climate. Always questioning people, always talking to people, was never embarrassed, never afraid to go do something where a lot of streamers or a lot of people in general would be intimidated or uneasy to go around certain people, especially in the midst of riots and chaos. We see that within the Patriot movement itself, that people don't want to get out there. And Villain was always the one, like, I'm going into it. And I've witnessed myself other times where he goes into the middle of something and he's pulling people away who are on opposite ends of the political spectrum. And one thing about Villain that I can say is that he had a huge compassion for people, and he carried the weight of the burdens of our world. And I think that at times probably came out in some of his live streams, or if you knew him on that level, he definitely would talk about it. He definitely carried the weight of the division that we are seeing in our country. So, and I'm sure, like you guys, his journalism, his reporting will definitely be missed.
Awesome. Chrysanthemum or Squirrels, did you want to go next? How you knew him, or what you thought of him? A little bit more detail. Squirrels.
All right, I'm gonna go first. I just want to show y'all real quick. If y'all can see it, this is a picture of Villain that I took from my phone while I'm holding his phone. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
It's Villain was basically on the ground, and when we were doing the candlelight vigil, and that was him lighting up stuff, lighting the candles and all, and I was basically I took a lot of video and stuff. So after this group chat ends, I could send y'all all the stuff I have, so y'all could see all of it too. But I mean, memories and stuff like with Villain. I'll tell you, when we were at the thing doing the candlelight vigil, I mean, I have so many stories, but I'll tell you this one. When we were at the candlelight vigil, it was just so crazy because like the way that Villain was able to pull it together in like such a short amount of time, because me and my buddy from Texas, we were at our hotel by the White House, and Villain was calling me and he's like, "Hey, are y'all already down there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're on the way, waiting on an Uber." And like within like a matter of 10 minutes, he went to the CVS or Walgreens and got all the stuff to make this beautiful candlelit vigil. And he pulled it all together by himself, and it was amazing. So that's I guess that's my part of the thing I want to share for like a story memory. It was
Gotcha.
amazing, his talent, and just back to what everybody else was saying, like just when we were in the hotel room during the weekend of December 12th, and there's a few people in here that were there that I could already see, but we just had like the greatest conversations in the hotel room. Just the questioning that Villain had was just so intelligent and intellectual. I mean, it was just insane, and the conversations were just awesome. So I don't want to take too much up time, so that would be it.
Awesome. Chris, Anthem. Do you have any?
Hi. I could add a little. I made a little video earlier today.
You did, yes, you did.
Kind of like a little montage of a few clips of Villain. So hopefully I can share that somewhere. Or
yeah, let me send that to Brant, and Brant could put it on stream for everybody to hear. But yeah, go tell your story while I work on that.
Definitely will. Yeah, I definitely will.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, all the
So
faces aren't
Villain
coming
was
up, guys. I'll work on
really
this.
active in his Discord. I just wanted to kind of go back to that. We had a group of like 7 of us, and we would spend sometimes 8 hours straight in a voice chat with Villain, sometimes multiple nights in a row. And we just had so much fun. We learned so much. And, if I wasn't in there, he would send me a message and say, "Hey, get in here. You need to tell these people to be quiet and then let these people talk." And it was like he knew that he knew that's what I needed for me to kind of grow some in my own life, just to pull me out a little bit of my shell. So he was doing that for me. And so that's just one thing I'm really thankful for. But he would come into Discord after his streams and kind of decompress and summarize and go over it with us and ask how it all went. And we would just spend so many hours talking to him. And yeah. Oh, and the last thing that we did with Villain was he decided to throw a Secret Santa gift exchange. He asked if we wanted to do that. So he drew the names and made jokes about what he wanted and just like a couple hours of that. And so I sent him those, and that was kind of the last time that I was able to speak with him. But yeah.
Brant, I sent her what she made that last video on Villain Report. I just sent you the link. If you could somehow play that.
I'm gonna play that instead for sure.
Your
Is
camera's
it
on.
okay if I kind of like, just because of what she referenced, I feel like it has a lot to do with what I'm going to bring up.
Yeah. You can be next. You bet.
Okay, cool. So I think I'm one of the first people in here that had pretty I had like a very unclear view of who Villain Report was and what he represented, because he liked to blend in and he liked to engage both sides. So as a content creator, never wanted to get my subjective involved because I didn't know what he stood for and I didn't want to speak for other people. So I would watch this guy. Literally, he would call out people on the right if they were doing fucked up shit. He would call out people on the left if they were doing fucked up shit. And whenever I heard the lefty arguments, he kind of was this. What's the word? He kind of showed, even though he was dressed the same as them, he said he wanted to bring, the toleration of listening to other people, having a conversation, having a debate. He was, for you to see that, hey, this is how real conversations happen. This is how you're engaged. This is how you control yourself. Watching him withstand all the attacks of other people, I gained a lot of respect for him. So I wanted to reach out to him naturally. So the 2 times that I met Villain were in these Discord calls that Chrysanthemum is talking about, because I host panels. Not a lot of this is just about covering the activism. It's about having an educated conversation afterwards and bringing everything to light, full transparency, not having just one lanes of conversation. And Villain was really good at submitting and pouring out his convictions and all of his morals and what he believed in. And the 2 times that I was blessed to have him in Discord calls, he actually provided an alternative form of thought that people really had to challenge themselves with. And some people took it offensive. Some people understood. And, the last time that I saw Villain, he was a lot more calm. He realized that, we were having more of a discussion rather than at the time, the first time, it was a very heated debate. But, I could definitely sense through all the convictions that he talked about that these are things that he truly believed in and he truly wanted to make a difference in, and he wanted to just talk about it all the time, and he wanted to get people involved, like Chrysanthemum was talking about, getting people involved from the moderation standpoint, getting people involved from the another point of view. Hey, I want to know what you have to say. What do you have to say? And then you would sit there and he would just listen. And I'm pretty sure we talked to Villain both of those times probably almost 20 hours combined, because he just sat in there and he just poured his heart out. And one thing that I do regret is not having him on there again, and just having him sit there and just pour out his convictions again, and teach people, educate people on just another point of view, another way you can see things. And that's what I got to say.
Go ahead and play that video, Brant, and then we'll go to Tara, I guess, another live streamer. Is there a way to replace your screen or whatever is best for so the other restreamers will know where to watch the video at? There was also that another audio clip that she sent also, if you wanted to try to play that too. So click the watch stream restreamers and Brant will get it set.
Yeah, I got it up there.
Hey, just real quick in the lull, I just want to let you know, Bill, that son of Hightower, Eli, he wants to jump on too, so I'm going to send him a link.
If you have permission, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll send him one.
Yeah, he wants to join up. He's got something to say too.
Damn. Okay, so about the second clip, it said it didn't have permission or access to the Discord link that you linked. So,
it's because it's probably in my
I'll
thing.
definitely put it up. I'll definitely put it up as soon as you give it to me. When I clicked on it, said I don't have.
It's probably because it was a message sent to me. Chrysanthemum, what did that say? Sorry, I don't have my screen up where I can play that audio that you sent me on there. But if you was it basically kind of your thoughts?
Yeah, that's what that was because I wasn't sure if I'd be in here.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else sent you theirs, but
I think somebody else did. Yeah, I'll see if I can play that, or I'll share it. And
did anybody else want to pop in here?
Let's get
say something while we're figuring this out.
Tara, if you wanted to go next, or Eddie,
I'll go.
Go for it.
As far as like specific memories with Villain, try to think over the time on which of the memories to think on, and I guess my main memory of Villain is who Villain actually really was, and people that knew Villain, they know that Villain never wavered when it came to doing what he believed was right. He searched for the truth with integrity, and he had compassion towards the world. And those that really know him know that Antifa would try to make him seem like he was this horrible individual, but I don't even think they even realize how much compassion that he actually had towards them, how much love that he had on actually wanting to try to bridge a gap of unity, and what type of loyal friend that Villain truly was.
Awesome words. Thank you. Hey, Robert, I sent you that link that you should be able to send to Son of Hightower. I don't have his email on me right now, but I'll see if I can find it, though. And then if Tara or Eddie wants to go next. It's going to say, you can also say your favorite video of his or something like that also, or, what you remember most about him.
Hey, guys. I'll go. I'd like to just remember how when I first met Villain was when it was in DC, and I remember it was December 13th, and he was there covering on the ground footage. At that time, I wasn't even a live streamer. I was just breaking out of my shell and just going out to see what was going on and finding the truth of what was going on versus what's seen in the media and what we're actually like witnessing in life. So he was among the first streamers that I actually even met, and we connected there. And then as I started putting myself more out there as a truth finder, I would always run into him also like in Portland, and he started like also like watching my back. And then I realized how much of a sense of community that we were all starting to build. And one thing that was very unique about Villain was his willingness to go and engage people who have different views than himself, and willingness to try and open up others to having that communication. Because so I was on his podcast last month, and I was his last guest to have been on, and I'm very honored to have had the opportunity of connecting with him on his show. But in that conversation, I really learned more about his his willingness and desire to be opening up those conversations. And I think that's something that was so unique about him, and that's something that we're missing from today's society and with what we're doing in this movement of truth finders, because people will start to radicalize when you don't bridge that communication towards each other. So that was one of the goals that he had with his podcast, and I think that's something that we can carry on forward with trying to still open those communications. And similarly, how Antifa will try to paint this picture of him, and we know the truth about Villain, and even though they were trying to be shutting him down, he was very resilient to try and engage others to be vocal about it, to gain that understanding, and to get people speaking, so that we would find a different path that people are trying to divide us on. He was relentless when it came to that, and that was one of the main goals that he had with his podcast. And I think that's one of the goals that we can all share with, and we can all continue to bring forth as streamers, as YouTubers, as truth finders when expressing our opinions, is still keeping that willingness to be listening to others and engaging with others who have different opinions, even when they're trying to shut us down, but continuing with his spirit to not let others shut us down and keep that willingness to not shut down others. I'd also like to bring forward some words that Andy No had sent me about Villain. That he said, these are Andy's words. His work was outstanding. It took bravery and courage to continue going out on the ground, knowing that there were extremists looking to do harm to him. And despite that, he expressed a genuine desire to humanize others and give them the opportunity to speak. The public is less informed with him gone, and Portland has lost a good man.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Amen.
Eddie, if you want to go.
Sure. Man, it's hard after watching that video, I gotta say.
I know, my eyes are watering.
I gotta say, unlike you guys, I've probably only met Villain like twice in real life. He was always nice. He was an awesome guy, and man, this is just so hard to do, We, all of us here, we do what Villain did, but I don't think everybody has their own niche, and Villain was just, man, he did it so well. And then you always had to tell people, no, he's not Antifa. He's not Antifa. He was just an awesome man, and just, you see my dogs, I love dogs. We had the same kind of attitude and stuff. So, I mean, he always treated me with respect, Always treated me with respect. That's about all I can say, guys.
Yeah. And I want to say something quick. There was a person that he worked with. I didn't think she wanted her name known out there because, unfortunately, if find out who she is or whatever, might go after her. But worked on some podcast with her. She just didn't even have the words to describe, what Villain meant to her and everything. But she was an important part of his life, knew him rather well and everything. But like I said, I can't just say who it was. But that's the kind of effect he had on people and everything. Just made him go speechless. In a lot of cases, once you met him, that's what it was like for me or whatever. One of the times I remember with Villain, just met him a few times, different events we'd go to, but an amusing time was when we were in Salem one time filming his speeches at the Capitol. Villain forgot his umbrella, rare thing to happen, but he usually has an umbrella with him, but one time he didn't, and he usually likes to kind of film from below as he's looking up at whoever's speaking at that point. I like to just kind of stand up. I did bring my umbrella. Nobody else was around there, so my umbrella kind of covered both of us and everything. And maybe a silly thing, but I just kind of thought it was kind of a special way to kind of streamers kind of getting together and uniting, and at that point there was other times too. But the thing also, what got me kind of more involved in live streaming was watching a video that BCP did with Villain when they went to the restaurant. BCP can probably tell you the name of the restaurant, but he went in there with the Patriot Prayer shirt on, and the waitress kicked him out. Villain, as I heard today, in a heartbeat, basically, BCP called him and he came running to help out, and he put the same shirt on and hat on, and they treated him differently than BCP. But that was a real popular video. A lot of you guys have probably seen that one there. But anyway, that's what sort of got me motivated to do more live streaming out there myself. And yeah, I did send an invite to Son of Hightower, so he should be coming in also. Did anybody else want to say about what their kind of favorite thing about Villain was? And then we'll get into his favorite videos.
I'll pop in for a second. I like you. I like Grant. I didn't really know. I didn't know Villain as a restreamer over the last couple of years. I've probably streamed, I don't know, hundreds, if not over 1,000 on the ground streamers. Most of them were pretty forgettable, but Villain stood out. I was always so happy when Villain was on the ground because I knew we were going to get good footage. He was going to get in there and get the story. A lot of streamers, and I don't blame him, hang back and kind of, will leave the situation when it starts to get hairy. Honestly, when it starts to get good. Especially in the summer of 2020, we all really wanted to know what was actually happening on the ground, and the media was clearly not covering it. I admired the way that he would jump in there, and you guys have already said this. He had no fear of getting into the middle of a situation. He was so good at diffusing a situation. And even though he knew that he was likely to be attacked, especially after they knew who he was. So I'm just happy to be here with you guys and be a part of this panel. I just wanted to pay my respects to a good guy.
Here.
Free Press, did you have it? Or go ahead.
So one thing too that I wanted to point out, one of my favorite things about Villain, for those of you who don't know, I used to be an EMT back in the day, and Villain used to be an EMT back in the day. And one of the reasons why I respect Villain so much is because his first exposure into this whole mess that we're currently living in America was Chaz. And a lot of people don't know or might not know that a couple kids got shot up in Chaz. And one of the incidences, there were 2 black teenagers that got shot. And Villain ran to the gunfire. He went to the gunfire, and he was actually instrumental in saving that 14-year-old kid's life. He was like, hey, we got to get him to the hospital. Antifa's like, no, don't do that. And Villain's like, no, we need to do it. Like, if you guys want to see the video, because he was filming the whole time, I got it on my channel. I'm sure it's on his channel. I think it's on his channel still. But he went to it, and he was 100%. If it wasn't for Villain, that kid would be dead. 100%. And then also in DC, when he was in DC and he saw oh my gosh, my mind just went blank. What was her name? The lady that got trampled.
Roseanne Boylan?
Yes, Roseanne Boylan. As soon as he was able to, because at the point in time he was pinned up against a wall, and he had nowhere to go. There was another guy next to him that got pinned into the wall too, and the dude passed out because he was being pressed into it, like he could not breathe, and the dude passed out. Villain got him up, but then as soon as he was able to get to Roseanne Boylan, he went and he immediately started CPR, and he was yelling for the cops to come and help her, and the cops didn't do anything. Of course, the media's not going to talk about that, but Villain was always looking for that. Like he didn't care. Like he was just like, I need to save a life, so I'm going to do it. And for me, a lot of streamers, a lot of filmers will sit there and they'll film it, right? And unfortunately, it's actually caused a lot of psychological problems for a lot of people. But we do have a very important job, and that is filming what's going on and what's happening. And then if we can, for instance, when Tiny got shot, I'm like, take the tourniquet off. I'm sitting there yelling. There was enough people on him. I didn't need to put the camera down and get on him and help. But I was able to talk it through a little bit. And Villain, just he dove in and he got it done. And I will respect Villain forever, just because of that. There's not very many guys, like what was said a little while ago. You know, a lot of streamers will get out of there once it starts getting hairy, and Villain and very few others, you know, didn't do it. They're like, oh, gunfire, I'm going. Oh, somebody's dying, I'm gonna go help him out. I'm gonna go figure this out. And yeah, Villain was a great guy, and I think that's something that's very important for people to know about Villain, was that, and he didn't care. Like the two kids that got shot at Chaz, they probably weren't Republicans. You know, I mean, Villain wasn't a political guy. He didn't care. He didn't care what political affiliation. They might have been Black Lives Matter. They might have been Antifa. He didn't care. He was like, I'm going to go save that kid's life, and that's it. And people need to know that. It's important stuff.
True. Well said.
And Brant, I just sent you something else that another one of his friends. I don't know if they wanted to be identified or not. I don't think they did.
Okay, Doug. We'll play it. Yep. Sensitive time. It's all good.
Yep.
Let's see what we have here. Okay, so this is the straight up file. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. I'm not sure how you'd play that on this thing, but I'll let you figure that out there. If somebody else had something to say, let me know. Let's see.
I would, Bill. I'd like to say.
Go for it, Central.
Hey guys, first it's an honor to be here with all of you. I wish we weren't under such sad circumstances. We're all here to celebrate, though, the life of Villain Phoenix and his accomplishments and the impact that he had on the nation with his coverage of events and the things that he showed us. We'd see him, the major cities of our countries, through his lens. And yeah, Eddie, CSC, and the video, they said it. Villain loved dogs. He saw him pet a lot of dogs out there. But for months, in just about any city we would be restreaming the events from on our show, Villain was almost certainly to be found in like one of those cities somewhere with a camera, challenging people on their ideas. In around September, October 2020, we first had Villain as a guest on our stream. And the audience's reaction was that he was much like most of the rest of us are on all of our combined streams. He could be an acquired taste, but he always drove his point home with his conviction. And I think all of you admired him for that. He didn't just share video of people. He shared a video of himself challenging people, making them think.
Audio, right, Bill? Sorry.
It's a .mov file.
Yeah, but it's just all audio, so I don't even have to cap it, and I can just play it. It'll hear. I'm sorry, Central.
No worries.
And he sometimes, even with me anyway, he would play like the devil's advocate on things. Like if we agreed on issues, he'd sometimes take an opposing view just to challenge me on it. And he and I have talked ever since that first interview about a lot of topics, and we didn't always agree, like I say, and many things we did agree on. But yeah, I'll just cut it short. That I think I just love talking to him for the last year, and I'll miss the time that we did spend talking on Discord about everything from politics to movies, music, and comic books, and you know, everything he's done for the last year and a half that he's shown us and given us, you know, will be his legacy, and he'll be remembered for it. Thank you.
I think Randy had that video. If not, I've got something somebody else wrote to me.
Over here. Yeah, I'm gonna play it. That way we can all hear it. It's 1 minute and 14 seconds.
But it's on the watch stream. The watch stream if you guys want to see it.
He would want you all to know he cared about every single one of you. And he was very thankful for all of your support. Villain didn't have a mean bone in his body. Anyone who says different didn't know him personally. If you are a Villain fan, even if you're not, he would want you all to continue working on yourselves and seeking out truths. Sometimes when you love so much, it can turn into pain, and Villain loved this world and everything in it endlessly. He is free now of his pain, and for that one piece of this, we can all be thankful. Rest in peace, brother, a true American hero.
Thank you. Another thing that somebody else wrote, Chris, let me know if it's okay to say who this was. Patriot S. Did I say the person's name? I think they wrote.
Not their name. Patriot Squirrel.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I meant
Oh, yeah.
the Patriot Squirrel. Another friend of Villain from his chat wrote me something here. I'll read it. Villain and us nerds were family. We laughed together. We cried together. We brought each other up when we felt nothing could go right. We had and still have each other's back. Villain taught me it's okay to be the shy, quiet, weird girl. People will still like you for what and who you are. If it wasn't for him, I would still be afraid to speak my mind. I would probably gotten the good days are a long time ago. I didn't see him as an idol or a hero. I saw him as a friend trying to heal this country and us helping him through the riot and smoke at the end of a stream. After his streams, when he wanted to cool down, we had his back to vent. And when we're going through our own riot in our personal lives, he'd be right there listening, wanting to help us any way he could. He loved us for who we were. He wanted us to go on with our lives, doing what we love, whatever it is, makeup, guns, working out, camping, hunting, fly fishing, software engineering, Bitcoin, 711, motorcycles, love of doggos and springtime weather, Jordan Peterson, and maybe even the love from a bunny or painting. He doesn't want us to be sad. He'd want us to be happy and be happy that we got the chance to know the real man behind the mask. I know he'll be looking for us, over us nerds forever. The Emperor has no cloak. And let's see if anybody else. That was one of his close moderators. That
we do have a few new people that just joined the call. If we wanted to give them a chance to.
Oh yeah. Oh,
while you're working on that, they can, say something if they'd like to.
Yeah, Yeedy, if you want to say something, I know you were sort of probably one of the guys watching through Steve and everything back in the day when Steve was showing a lot of the riot footage and everything. If you have a perspective from that point of view, maybe.
Well,
or whatever point of view.
I watched a lot of his footage, even covered some of it. He was a very intelligent, to me, young man. And I really don't know what more I can say other than Godspeed, and all we can do is remember him and try to do what he did, but at the same time reach across the aisle and come together, and even come together as a patriot group as well. DK, you have anything?
DK's there?
Too?
I did. When I first saw you guys doing this, first of all, I just want to say I commend every single one of you for doing what you're doing. And the one thing I can say about my man Villain is that many other of you said about being a multi-streamer or being an aggregate. I did see Villain quite often out on the streets doing what he does best, actually getting right into what would be consider the protest. And I throw that in quotations because it really depends on what situation we're talking about. But even with the Wii Spa incident, that was probably one of my favorite ones because he held his own so good against a group of absolute insane people. I don't recall what people were saying to him, but the very fact that he did what he did and gave us the opportunity to see what was really going on. It meant a lot to me, and I did get the chance to debate Villain a couple times. We did not agree on very much, but one thing we did agree on was the right to have a passionate debate. And he's actually one of the few people that taught me that it's okay to disagree with somebody and still be friends with them. And he was a really, really good guy. And it broke my heart. And I wish him all the best. I wish his family the best. And hopefully one day we'll all meet again, right, folks?
Amen.
Good words. Yeah. Still trying to get Son of Hightower to come in here. But yeah, if you guys want to, if anybody else has any words, I think we got most everybody covered. But say what your favorite video is, what kind of brought a laugh or a tear to your eyes that you can remember, something kind of.
My favorite. Sorry, y'all, I'm coming down with something, so forgive me. My favorite overall memory of all Villain has to be Villain unloading on Lindsey Graham in the airport. I have to say that's one of my favorite memories. He was saying what we all were thinking, and he was there to be able to say it. And to be honest, in that moment, Villain represented the constituency more than the person who had been elected right in front of him. And to me, as somebody who covered that, I think that was my golden memory of Villain. He did not back down. He let it fly. And afterwards, he gave a very heartfelt speech, one-on-one with his camera. And it was a wake-up call.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna say the incident with the restaurant and dealing with BCP. You were involved in that where you were denied service, and he went in a couple hours later in your clothes, and he gave that manager 9 kinds of heck, and they were transgender. He was, at the time questioning his identity and, being, transgender at the time. But, he came to terms with things later on, but that whole situation where he's putting the narrative that they're trying to spin back on them, which is what he did quite often. And that was one of my fondest memories. And no, this isn't white power. It's okay.
I just wanted to clarify, that was the Red Robin incident, correct?
No, it was called Parkstone.
Parkstone.
Oh, okay. I get the Red Robin one mixed up.
Yeah, he wasn't there at the Red Robin one.
Yeah.
There was
Same
also a memory
situation,
of
though.
him talking with CJ at one point around, I want to say January 4th or January 5th. Him and CJ had a rather long conversation as well. A lot of soul searching happened in that conversation. But yeah, there are all kinds of memories that now that we're talking about are just kind of popping up.
Hey, thank you. Before we go to Son of Hightower, who just popped in, who also knew him from the streets of Portland, like we all said, Villain liked dogs and everything. So I didn't know an exact charity that he liked. And he also liked, wanted to go to Utah in retirement and everything. So if you guys look in the Discord chat that's right there, I put a link to a non-kill dog shelter and everything. If you guys could copy that link and put it in your chats. And if it's I'm sure, and then your chat, whoever wants to send a donation on behalf of Dylan, send it there. And another thing I was just thinking about also, Dylan would, whenever he had a chance to help somebody out, whether it was a homeless person on the street or, asking a question and to see how your day was going, he would sort of find a way, if he could help you out, he would do it. And there's somebody in the Twitch community and everything that's going through a hard time. I just found out last night, and some of us kind of helped her out and everything. Not going to give any names or anything like that, but I think it would be the kind of thing that Villain would want to do. So if you guys want to help donate to that, Hey, Yeedy, could I use your Cash App as that donation link?
Cash App.
Put it.
Yeah.
Put it in the. Do the same for me.
What I'll
Put it.
do. My Cash App is $sign Yeedy on the streets. You can Venmo me at Yeedy on the streets, or PayPal at paypal.me/Yeedy Yeet McGeterson.
And Cash App might be best if you guys have Cash App, because the person in question does have a Cash App, but we're not going to give her that person's direct information, but it's going to go through Yeedy to the person that's going through some really hard times. I don't want to get into any details, but just something that Dylan would do that would make a direct impact on other people's lives. And I think Son of Hightower could probably tell you more about that situation, what Dylan would do in people's lives. Go ahead, Son of Hightower. Are you there?
I remember correctly too. I was going to say, there we go. I didn't know if he left or not.
He's there. Turn on your microphone, Hightower. I'm not sure if it's on your. I see your.
Yeah, you might need to make sure your desktop is lined up with your source in Discord.
Oh, yeah. Go to voice and video under settings, so we can all hear you out here. You're trying to get your.
He's pensive. He's
mic.
working on it.
He's working it. Okay. Well, we're waiting on Son of Hightower. Did anybody else have a favorite video of his?
I wanted to say just something really quick. If I do remember, I feel like Dylan actually donated to my GoFundMe when I was going through my my stuff. So whoever was saying that if he could, help in any possible way, he would always do so. And if I remember right, which I think I do.
Hey, by the way, CJ is going to come in here too.
Awesome. I did send him an invite if he needs.
We'll get him. We also have Prime Time joining us in, and we have So High that needs to speak.
How's it going, everybody?
What's going on? Hightower, did you get your mic fixed yet? Still can't hear you if you're trying to get through to us, but if you just want to listen or whatever, it's all good too. I know you and him were close.
It's working.
And if you want to, if Brandon Farley, I tried getting him in here also. You can send a message to him if you want to.
Who's
hey,
that?
Josh. Brandon Farley, a Portland guy that was take pictures of Antifa, one of the most hated guys in Antifa besides Villain, maybe.
He's
Antifa. A legend, yeah, exactly. Josh, you knew Villain pretty well. If you don't mind telling everybody how you knew him and what he meant to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I met Villain just over a year ago in Salem when we were out doing streaming together. But I knew of Villain long before that. I've been watching his streams all summer long throughout the Chaz Chop and just the whole Portland scene. And I really admired Villain as an individual and the way he, always tried to bring things to the middle. I know a lot of people say that, but it was true. And I got an opportunity to meet him in Salem. And ever since that event, we kind of started chatting every once in a while and getting to know each other a little bit. And I don't know what it was, but he seemed to reach out and connect with me after that Salem event. I don't know if it was my streams or if he just saw what I was doing, but I felt like he just reached out and he wanted to make a connection because he cared so much about the community. And, after that, we just got a good opportunity to get to know each other and, share a lot of ideals and have a lot of conversations over Discord. But I'll just never forget the opportunities I got to meet him in person and spend time with him one-on-one. Me, Common Sense Conservative, Jake, Behind Enemy Lines, and Villain, we all went out to dinner one time. And I remember showing up to dinner and Villain was there. And I was like, wait, what's going on here? He's not supposed to be without a mask. He's supposed to be,
Wow.
Villain.
I'm here.
And it was the one opportunity.
You guys,
hold on, Hightower. We got Primetime's talking. You can go right after him if that's all right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can
hear
you.
me.
Yeah. But we got Josh and Primetime, and then you're next.
So, anyways, we went out to dinner, and that was the one time I really got to like meet Villain for the real Villain. Not the streamer, not the guy on the ground, not the guy battle at the front of the battles and whatnot. But a real human, and
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you. But can you hear us? On Hightower?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't think he hears us.
Audio problem.
Well, he may have fixed his mic, but needs to fix his earphones to make sure that they match up with his desktop audio. He might not be able to hear any of us. He probably just sees things blinking up. He's probably also watching a stream, so he's not. You know what I'm saying? Like he's listening to watching a stream.
Hey, common sense. If he's watching your stream, can you tell him in your chat how to go to the voice video settings and change his video settings to the right video? I think he's probably watching your stream.
Is this working? Is it working?
Sound good now. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Hi, Terror. Got to go to the video settings. If you can hear us, okay. As soon as Prime Time is done saying his thing, then it's all you.
No, fuck Brandon Farley, dude.
Okay.
Brandon Farley will fuck all this up.
It's like you summoned Voldemort.
I was debating whether to say that. I know, but
I think Brandon Flores. Anyways, yeah, man, I got to meet Villain for the real human behind the mask, the guy that to see a different side of him, to get to know him a little bit more, and he's just what it boils down to. He was just a really kind, compassionate dude. I know that sounds kind of generic, but he really was. He cared so much. And I could tell he cared so much because, just the way he would reach out to me and the conversations we had, it was like, I felt, why am I so special to have a relationship with Villain like this for? Why does he feel so willing to let his guard down and say some of the things he would tell me and, speak about some of the subjects we talk about? But at the end of the day, it was just camaraderie. It was, it just good spirited person who cared about, his fellow people and those around him, and he just wanted to connect, and I appreciate the opportunity that we had to connect, and I'll never forget it.
Awesome. It's like Hightower still having some audio issues over there. Anybody else have any kind of favorite videos of his? Mine was also the one that kind of inspired me was the restaurant one, but like you say, We Spa was a great one also, but some of those little ones also, when he sort of fronted the police, I can't remember exactly when it was, but he didn't want to give out his identity. A lot of times he was kind of pro cop. That time, whatever, he was not really happy with the cops asking his information. But he was always kind of set his mind whenever whatever was on his mind. He would let people know what was on it. But anyway, let's have.
Oh, are we good? Okay. Go ahead.
Black Rebel, did you have anything you wanted to say? I might server mute whoever's got the audio issues there. Anybody else have any favorite videos?
I had a quick one where this is you were saying some of the smaller videos he did. One of my favorite ones, and I clapped when I saw it, was when he went through Portland during the day and he walked up to where Steve Freight Broker for some of you guys, or the Yeet crew, when he bought the billboards. And Villain gave us a tour of Portland and showed us the billboards. And I laughed so hard when I saw that. And that was one of my favorite, smaller videos he made.
That was a good one. I did like that one too.
I don't think it lasted long. I think it lasted, a couple days?
Oh, yeah, maybe 2 or 3 days. I went in there about 4 or 5 hours after Villain did and did a little flag wave right next to that station there.
I remember that he did this. He did a thumbs up, and there's a screen grab of him thumbs upping, and it was cool. Right behind the sign, right in front of it. I mean,
did anybody else have any kind of favorite videos before we talk about his legacy? What we can kind of learn from what he kind of brought to us and everything. What's going to happen in 2022? Anybody else have any kind of unique insight or favorite videos that they have of him. Son of Hightower, are you still out there?
Is this working now?
Yeah, can you hear us? You think all these techie guys with all these live streamers that are out here would know how to do a basic
Dude,
Discord,
IRL
but-
is easy. IRL is
CJ's
is
asking.
difficult.
CJ's asking how to get involved in this. Before we start talking again, let me just say to him, CJ, I'm going to message you personally. Do the Discord invite. Once you join my Discord, I can then add you because you'll be a member, right? I can add you as a friend, and I can message you the Multi Coalition Discord, which is where everybody is right now. And then while he's figuring that out, so how you can go ahead and go if you want to.
Or yeah, do that way. If that doesn't work, I got a backup plan.
IRL is much easier than this, you guys. And just basically go. I've been going live through the YouTube app for the last couple of years. I just press go live and it goes live. It's super easy. This is way super complicated, you guys. I like complicated though. So this is fun. It's one of the reasons why I liked Villain. Extremely complicated guy, and I wanted to say a lot of people are saying that dude was very fearless, and I can't say I can't say more to that except for that I think one of the things that he was really hoping to do was to reveal his identity to the world, and that's one of the things that I think that we really we missed with his loss. Everybody says he's got the ability to bridge between the two, and he really was one of us as a human, one of the human beings of this world. And I'm just really going to miss his energy. And I just wanted to throw that out there. This guy's got a name, and he wasn't using it because he didn't want it to distract from what was going on. He didn't want,
Is it cool that we keep it anonymous? I don't know if you're planning on saying it. Can we keep it-
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay,
No,
just making
let's
sure.
leave
I
this
just
for the
wanted to, I
family.
wanted
Let's
to
leave this for the
preemptively.
family.
Some of us, we
You
don't
know,
want to be.
and let's leave it for the family. But my favorite time ever filming with him was during Jay's memorial here in Portland. Antifa would end up crashing it. However, I think that the way that he covered that, it was just an amazing. It was amazing to be with such a reasonable person, so that's all I really wanted to add to this is that he was a real person. He had a name, and I can't wait to say it. And with that, I'll just keep listening, you guys. Thanks for holding this platform.
Gotcha. Well, we're still waiting on CJ to come in. Does anybody have any questions for those of us that did know Villain a little bit better?
On the Discord thing, make sure that he isn't requiring some kind of like authorization from you.
Did he get in? Let me go check.
I sent him the link.
All right,
so
see if
just
it's
letting you know before he's just
yeah. There's that little admin thing I got to do. Yeah. Did anybody have any questions for BCP
I actually had one quick thing I just kind of wanted to compliment on was because as a streamer, I understand how difficult this is. I will compliment him on his audio and video quality and the ability to work all of that crap out, because I, to this day, still don't know how he did it or how any of the on-the-ground reporters do it. BCP, you're one of them, man. I watch you and I'm like, I can't understand. You have such good quality. And as a nerd, I appreciate those types of things. And Villain was good at that for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Brant, was it Paradox? Is that how he's coming in?
Sure. Honestly, I sent him the message, the link. I don't know if he has.
It's probably-
I don't
I
have
see-
him added on Discord, but
That's probably
I
what's
don't
going
want to out. I don't want to out what his Discord is. He's trying to
I
be
know.
anonymous.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that, but yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, you didn't give out the numbers or anything, so.
yeah. Did anybody else have
Technology,
any?
folks.
Exactly. Thank you for being patient, chat. We appreciate it. Oh, if you again wanted that link for the dog place, it was called bestfriends.org. and then to go to the donation area if you want to sort of say something on behalf of Villain over there.
Bestfriends.org.
Bestfriends.org. And there's a link that I put in the Discord chat if you guys want to grab that link to the direct donation thing, but it's pretty easy to access it through there. Or if you do want to help the other lady that we would think that Villain would want to help if he knew her.
Right. Let me reiterate it really quick, just because there's a lot of people in here that want to know more about it. Bestfriends.org chat. That is where you can support if you'd like to. Mr. Bill, go back over the specifics of what this particular nonprofit is doing.
I was reading up on it, but I think they're based out of Utah, and they're a non-kill shelter. A lot of these other kind of humane societies, if they can't sell the dog off at a certain time, then they've euthanize it. This particular one is trying to make it, finding homes for everybody, no matter what. At that point, there, all sorts of cute dogs. Looks like they work with cats also, but it's one of those kind of. In fact, Chrysanthemum gave me the link there to this thing here. If you have any other sort of sentiments about why Villain would choose this one here, Chrysanthemum, please feel free to say so.
Villain and I talked a lot about wanting to go to Utah and see the Red Rock there. And this particular rescue is no kill, no matter how aggressive the dog is or the animal, it will stay there forever. And so that's kind of why we chose that one.
Nice. So chat, you heard that. If you'd like to support, I have the link down at the bottom. As well, I believe there was also an announcement. Contributions. Going ahead.
If you want to also help out Yeedy, if you want to put your Cash App in the chat group or whatever, so that people can sort of copy that link, and if it's possible, and put it on their streams.
To help support one of our community members, right? The one we talked about.
Yeah. We're not going to say names or anything like that, but she's went through hard times recently. But I don't know how else you wanted to possibly help her out. It doesn't really have a GoFundMe or anything like that, but just Edie is kind of the grand junction for helping her, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And
in regards, Bill, also for the best.
Actually, sorry,
Go
Central,
ahead,
but
Go ahead.
if all of you could enlarge my image here in just a moment, it will show my Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal.
All right.
Just give it a minute or so for everybody, and so they can focus.
CJ,
you can focus it and show it on your screen.
Right? Seems like it. Is it Yeedy on the streets on pretty much all of them?
Yeah, except for PayPal, which is Yeet McEaterson.
Yeet McEaterson for PayPal, y'all. And then everything else is Yeedy on the streets. That would be like Cash App and Venmo, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that's going to be helping our community member out, chat, just so y'all know what that is, okay? And then the bestfriends.org, that is if you want to help the nonprofit, is a no-kill shelter. So I just want to make sure we gave a little bit of time for that, because a lot of people are asking just clarity on that.
And CJ, if I let you in, if that's you that I think it is in the channel, if it's not you, then I will go to your Twitter and send you a message through Twitter and send you the invite that way. But otherwise, you should be able to access the voice chat now.
And you know what? Everything that comes into my stream today, we're going to document it and we're going to put it towards that as well. So just go ahead and throw that in there as well, chat. So just to clear it up, anything that comes to the stream today, every bit of it will go towards that. We'll figure out how to dual contribute. Okay.
For anybody on the politically incorrect lounge, also, if you can't find that link, I've posted it in the general section on mine, so you can find it there for the shelter. And I will also be posting later, once I get it from Yeedy, the link for the donation to help the individual that needs some help.
Yeah, I'll get that to you a little bit later, Central.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're working on getting CJ in here, correct, right now?
Yeah. Still trying to track down his Twitter if that's not, if you didn't get that okay through the thing there.
He says it should be him. like who it is that you're.
What starts with P? Yeah. Okay, so I added him. Maybe just have him refresh the screen, basically, or something like that. And we'll get CJ in here and give his thoughts. But until then, let's see if there's anybody else who has any questions for.
You said Voices for the Voiceless is locked, won't let me in. I would say you should give me like a moderator position on here so I can just help you not have to like micromanage so much. So it would probably make
Gotcha.
I can
Yeah,
do it a
let me
lot
see
quicker
if
than
I can
you know,
do that. Hold on here. If I have the power to do that, or the other person who's the host might not have given me that power. Hold on. Let's see.
Okay.
Invite to server. If I right click, where would it be on that screen? Let's see.
So what you would do is you would right click on my name and then you would go down to roles, and then I guess you just give me like one step up on a roll or two steps up, wherever the ability to slide people around rooms is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
And then I can help you. You don't have to like think so much on it because I know you're trying to keep the structure of this and that.
Yeah, I'm trying to. All I can do is make host and streamer, not just give the option to admin use. So I'll just keep
All
trying
good,
to.
CJ. We're all working together to figure this out.
Yeah.
Keep going on. If anybody has.
You need a waiting lobby because it's you have to promote everyone for them to come in. Like a waiting lobby would allow them somewhere to like sit.
I like Free Press's camera right now. It's kind of gives everybody kind of a nice reminder of what Villain kind of looked like, because I was trying to find a way to put a picture on the screen.
It freaked me out for a second there.
I was waiting. Yeah, I was waiting to patiently say that. I was like, wait a minute.
Remember, chat, all the bits that come in today, we're going to be shifting that directly over towards support for our community, and then also for the bestfriends.org non-kill shelter. And that's what our two causes will be today. 100% of the proceeds will go towards that. So that simplifies it for everyone participating. You don't have to think so much and jumble around.
I think I just need to send him an invite.
I did want to say too that I've been sitting in here for however long, and I did not realize Polish American Brotherhood was here. And howdy, I've watched tons of your streams. I was like, "Who's Poe AM Brother?" Oh, and I remembered. And you do great work as well. I remember a few of your streams too.
We actually have a group of powerhouses in this Discord right now.
I know. It's like
have been very integral on the ground, sharing the message out. There's a lot of people in here, and very honored with all
Antifa's
of you.
Antifa's most
Not
wanted
so
on
much
one
on the
place.
chat occasion.
Oh, God.
Just in
Don't say
general.
that.
Yeah, be quiet.
Name your ranking flashcard.
Tears spilt inside this lobby.
What fast card number are you guys? Name your fast card ranking.
Oh goodness.
Oh boy.
I think I'm 13. I think I'm 13 or 14.
You know, I've been disappointed.
I'm gonna have to now look into that. Is there like a tier list or something? Is that what it is?
I didn't know
there is, yeah.
I didn't know they had a ranking system.
It's like I sort of want to be on the list, but I sort of don't want to be on the list.
I don't want to.
Grand Marshal Bash, you know.
It's got to be a badge of honor in some way.
That was World of Warcraft references, so don't y'all, you know.
I think I'm in the single digits on that one.
Oh yeah, you're probably pretty high.
You're up there.
Especially with the Dustin's book, I would think.
Yeah,
Eddie, I think you're high up on that list just because you're just too sav. You know, like,
just so you got all you guys know, in the main chat in this Discord that we're in, I put my info in there for.
Well, this Discord would only be for the content creators mirroring it out. If you want to, you can go to each of the communities and you can put it in my general chat. I know for sure.
Right, but just saying you could copy and paste it and then over to your community.
Yeah, you guys see that general chat there that's over there? You'll see.
I'm just trying to simplify it, chat.
So
that
that's
it makes it
true. Still trying to get CJ in here, but somebody else wants to ask another question. Hold on. Go ahead and ask Robert or Quincy or anybody else who knew him, if you guys have any kind of thing you want to know about Villain or whatever.
A lot of people are asking too who everybody is. If maybe we can just do a real quick recap.
Oh yeah, you betcha. Let's start with CJ that just came in the room there.
The myth,
the legend.
I made it. I made it.
I'm not
I made it.
Gotcha.
Not that guy.
Yeah, man.
PJ, go ahead and say yours. You have a chance to tell us your thoughts about Villain or where you met him, and we have a couple minutes on that.
Yeah, man. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Hey, noob, turn your phone sideways. My goodness, are you new at this?
Horizontal.
I know. How long you been freaking filming and you can't?
This is a new live streamer, guys.
He's a brand new
name is TJ.
IRL streamer.
CJ, yo, CJ, are you?
CJ.
Hey, CJ, are you a rookie? Are you a rookie or what, bro?
You're not gonna live that down, man.
It's called landscape mode.
I just want to quickly point out, if the first phone company that makes a phone that you can hold portrait and can film landscape is going to make $1 million, millions of dollars potentially.
Phone that like pops up and flips sideways. I'm not even going to talk about it like I know technology. I'm going to shut up. But thank you for that warm greeting, y'all. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So yeah, that's what's funny, man, is that you mentioned like not knowing how to hold the phone. That's when I first met Villain, actually, is when I very first started all this. So first off, big shout out to all you guys for doing this, man. I really do appreciate it. It's very ambiguous, this whole situation with the stream world, especially with someone like Villain, who's, he's all in the cloak and dagger aspect of things. So you never really like see and know who the guy is, right? Until you get a chance to kind of repetitively run into each other. So Villain and I, man, we met in Seattle in the Chop before he started the Villain Report. Like way back in the day. I'm talking when the Chop first started. And I just started. So I wasn't even holding my phone right. I was still doing vertical. I'm walking around trying to figure out. Thought selfie sticks were lame. I'm like, man, I want to do this. But I met him and we got a chance to talk. And the first time we talked, man, he was just a super engaging guy. You know what I mean? Right off the bat. And it was kind of an intriguing moment for me because you could tell he was looking to like get more involved, and he started in my world, kind of the way that he showcased himself throughout all of his streaming, which was like very out front. He was brave, man. He was a super brave guy. And I'll say this, one of the things I admire about him is that in all the places we ran into each other, between Seattle, Portland, DC, like all around the country, he never had an issue. LA, someone mentioned the Wiesbach thing. He and I were down there for that one as well. And there was never a moment where he wasn't willing to just let you know straight up, like, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. These are my rights. And you're not going to overstep that and tell me how I can and can't live my life. Honestly, there was plenty of times where I was like at the Wiesbach thing, he was getting switched at Wiesbach, and I even backed up. I was like, all right, they kind of circled me, and they were like, this guy. I get a lot of flack from, well, you guys already know how I get it, but it was like 15 people. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. Not my monkey, not my zoo. And as I'm closing my stream to walk across the street, I hear Villain giving him an earful across the street. And he's standing between the police and Antifa. And he was just giving him the breakdown. Like, nah, you're not going to tell me where I can go. You're not going to tell me where I can't go, blah, blah. And I was like, shit, man. I look like a real punk right now. But Villain was stepping up and keeping it strong, man. But that's how he was every time we saw each other. And one of the more like the humanized moment for me with Villain was in DC last year in December. There was that big Proud Boy thing. You guys remember with Proud Boy Antifa, there was a big brawls and they were fighting in the streets. And this is when everyone assumed I was a Proud Boy. So like, oh, he filmed the Proud Boys. And I'm like, all right, well, I filmed Tony.
Everybody is, yeah.
Right? I heard you guys talking about your Fash card. And I'm like, that's funny because like immediately I interview Enrique and all of a sudden like, oh, we knew you were a Proud Boy. I'm like, well, all right. Well, you know more than me apparently. But
was this around the time when Andy No thing happened? When he got cemented?
That was before.
Okay. I'm trying to rack my brain.
This was build up to J6 last year.
Yeah, this is December 12th, the Million Mega March.
Yep,
That was in front of Harry's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Harry's.
Nobody cares about Andy. No.
Polish Brotherhood's
of course, bro.
Where's Polish Brotherhood in this one, right?
She's there yet.
You guys just had Tristan on the show. I was just staying at his place out in Milwaukee for a couple days from the run out in Kenosha, but which is when I found out Villain. But in DC, man, it was I'll get me kind of choked up actually, dude. Like we were on top of a dump truck or whatever, in the middle of that intersection in front of Harry's Bar. There's Proud Boys everywhere. Like,
Yeah, you guys were, yeah.
yeah, remember Antifa had this big scrap. Someone got stabbed a couple times.
Yeah.
I got the whole like Proud Boy crew circled me at one point, and they were like trying to sweat me, and I'm like, dude, you know who I am. I've interviewed you guys multiple times. I've had a handful of you guys come up here and be like, we joined because of you. And I'm like, well, I'm not a recruiter, but I'm glad you're involved in what you believe. And that's something that was really the continuity in Villain, was that he just stood up for what he believed, and we were on top of this truck, and he had a moment where like, it was the first time he like pulled his mask down, and that was like his way of saying like, hey man, we're good. Like, he was like, this is who I am, which was funny because we'd seen each other, so many times before that, but I didn't even think about it. Like, I just assumed he was a mask. You know what I mean? I was like, that's what he looks like. But, and then he asked me straight up, and I don't know how this plays into his passing, but he was like, how are you dealing with everything, man? Like, how are you coping? And we both kind of muted our streams and just had a real good heart to heart. And he was talking to me a lot about how he was doing a lot of drinking, how he was trying to like deal with a lot of the things that were coming in line with what we do. Being around that hate and that venom all the time, and like that kind of cantankerous, like, negativity, it weighs on you, and it's a darkness that kind of pulls at you. And we had a really amazing bonding moment up there where we kind of talked each other through kind of like the elements of our PTSD and kind of what we were trying to manage through it. And then after that, when we saw each other, it was definitely more of like a deeper connection, because it wasn't just two guys that happened to be carrying phones and like recording craziness in the streets. It was like real people that were really experiencing what we were there to cover, and it didn't just have a passive approach on our existence, and it really sinks in. But we got a chance to have a lot of good conversations, and the guy like just really set a high standard for stepping up and not being afraid to like, to own your space, and I think that's a powerful message for us as well, in the fact that we're allowed to, stand our ground, and I'd been really kind of like, I was really wishy-washy, man. Primetime's in here. He'll remember like one of the times in Tacoma that I had to square off with a little like verbal square off with some of the Antifa folk, but it was like, I was always very kind of like passive, like, all right, it's good. Like, because I'm around it so much here in the Northwest, that you have to kind of maintain a little bit of a balance between them and everything else, where I'm not trying to be the news. I'm trying to cover what's happening. And Villain definitely stayed on that line too. He was like, hey man, like, I'm not your enemy. Actually, it's funny. I adopted that from him. He said that to somebody once while we were out in a crowd. And I was like, that's exactly it, man. I'm not your enemy. Like, I don't need to be your enemy until you make me your enemy. You know what I mean? And then we've got this entire like backlog of like thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are like, you're just going to make them your enemy too, But it was like, it was one of those times where I was like, finally, like, I was like, all right, like one of those like fuck you moments where I'm like, you need to back up. Like, I'm tired of this shit. Like, I'm not going to deal with it anymore. Like, I've let you guys give me too much push, and I haven't given you enough push back. And that's where like guys like Villain really like demonstrated that there's a different way to do it. You don't have to allow the world to step on you or step over you. You're a presence, and that's, that's important. Your voice needs to be heard. And not to get too preachy about it, but the guy really was like, he was a solid installation in what we do. And I think if anything, it was a great indication of how we can do what we do, especially for us that like when we get out in the field and we're doing things like, I know it's kind of like a mixed view. Like, we have some of us are like, we're in studio more than we are in the field, and some are in the field more than the studio. And there's like kind of a healthy balance between the two with, I'm sure, a lot of us in here. And you got BCP, Primetime. I know all you guys up here in the Northwest, like, you guys know how it gets. Like, you have to really walk a fine line. You have to figure out how to be, not like everybody's friend, but you have to maintain like this weird friendly vibe, right? BCP, I know you have like, all right, we're cool. When really inside you're screaming like, fuck you, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want to grab them, especially like, I'm not a little person. BCP, I know you're not a little guy either. Like, when you're out there, you're like, oh, all 80 pounds of you I want to throw into a dumpster right now. All burn. But you don't. And you realize that like a lot of it is, and again, I keep drawing it back to Villain. Like, in WeSpa, that event was like, that was really turnkey for me. Like, when I was thinking about it, like, after I went live right away, I went back across the street and I was like, fuck this, dude. I can't believe that I'm allowing this to happen. But But like when it gets down to that point where you realize that like we're not just a camera, right? Like we're real people in here. Like we're all, representing an entire demographic of people that follow us, or groupings of people that, need us to be out there because they can't be. And that's a big deal when you got people like Villain that were willing to step up and like put themselves in the front line, and that's a dangerous place to be, man. Like BCP, you were down there at WeSpa, you showed up, man. Like I remember you had like straight up body armor on, man. You were ready for war.
I sure did.
Right, you were.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of you guys were down there at that same kind of week, and it was like there was a calling for there was a need for coverage. There was a need for people to go down there, and it wasn't anybody that was willing to go down there. Wizzy was getting harassed for weeks. All the other press were getting harassed, and it was like it was not a safe territory. And I felt like Villain, with his fearless mentality, he looked at that and other guys like yourselves, went down there, felt it was your duty, to go down there and address the situation and make sure it was covered because it wasn't getting proper coverage. And Villain walked right into the belly of the beast. That stream was super classic, and he held it down the entire day. Like the conversations were poignant.
Yeah.
It was killer. It was awesome.
Yeah, what I liked in that conversation was when he was talking to the transsexual lady and everything, and he wasn't afraid to even express his inner demons and everything, the things that he was going through.
Right.
It was to be straight up and things like that. And we got Kate here, who had some conversations with Villain about some controversial issues. I know she didn't agree with him on that kind of stuff. But Kate, if you wanted kind of talk to the chat about his point of view and how you took it and things like that at that point there, and about yourself also. Thank you.
Hi.
Is this Katie Kate from T-Town?
Yeah, it's Kate Speaks.
What's happening, Kate? How are you?
I'm doing well. Sorry I'm a little bit late. We had some internet issues here, so I had to work that out.
No worries.
Well, I think the biggest memory of Villain that I have is when I went on his show and we talked about being a stay-at-home mom, because that's what I am. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 6 children now, which is crazy. And just how important it is for children to have their parents in the household, directing them and not allowing, the state to direct their children. And, we may not have agreed on everything, but that particular perspective I thought was a very interesting one to have, since not a lot of people really have that perspective nowadays. It seems to be more like the, 2 parents work and that's how it needs to be and everybody should be contributing. But, each of us contribute in a different way. And, when you're a stay-at-home mom, you contribute a different way than, the person who goes to work. But it's a teamwork thing. And Villain really felt like that was how a family should be run. And I really respect that. And he had a lot of respect for me because I chose the path that I chose to stay home with my children. But in general, he was just a really all around kind of good person. The 3 or 4 big interactions that I had with him, and then just the interactions behind the scene with him as well. He always was courteous and kind. And I think that's something we all need to take from him, is that, yeah, we may have different opinions than people, but being courteous towards somebody and showing them a level of respect is really ultimately the lesson that I think we all could take from him.
Good little segue. I saw Ultimate Podcast. Go ahead, BCP.
So you guys are mentioning, what's your favorite live stream? And for, live streamers, like myself and, most of us, especially the ones who are in the field, it actually gets kind of hard and difficult to see other live streamers' feeds and videos and stuff. I don't personally go back home and go through everybody's live stream and let me watch their videos. So I don't have no particular video of Villains that I can sit here and say, oh, it's my favorite one. And I don't have my favorite one as well, So, but the one thing I can say about the live streaming, and when Villain and I were out, I will say I felt the most, I'll say, comfortable, even secure, knowing that Villain was always had eyes on me, watching to make sure that I was okay. And that was, it was the same me with him. I was paying attention to where he was at, where he was moving, who was around him. And a lot of times when live streamers are out, they're not doing that. They some want to just kind of be in their own bubble and not talk to no one. Some people are just doing their own thing, but Villain we always made sure that we were okay when we were out there.
Yeah, and that's actually something I wanted to touch on too. Is as somebody that aggregates streams or did quite often throughout the majority of that. That's something I picked up on was BCP and CJ and even WYSIWYG and Villain and everybody. There was like a collective going on. There was a group of people that I kind of picked up on that were always with each other, or if they weren't, they had each other's backs immediately. And BCP and CJ and Villain and even WYSIWYG in certain cases, because I know that he's not always was part of that, but I did pick up on the fact that it seemed like there were a few outlier streamers, but the majority of people I watched were watching each other's backs pretty much always, and that's really awesome.
Yeah, like on August 22nd, recently on August 22nd, sorry, everybody was watching everybody's back at that point there. I was kind of watching from a distance, the chicken that I am, but I could see Villain out there and BCP watching each other as they were getting into it with, their favorite left guys. But anyway, it's just everybody had each other's back, on our side anyway. It was awesome to see. Is that CJ that want to say something?
Yeah, what's wild, man, is like I've gone through the evolution of streaming, like for the last couple of years. Like I started off in the CHOP, right, which was like a left-controlled occupied protest, right? And it was.
Is it CHOP or Chaz?
Yeah, right. It's whatever one sounds toughest to whoever's reporting, right? Like, right, right. The autonomous zone, occupied protest, whatever. It was right. Yeah, it was a couple square blocks of the park, predominantly people that already dwelled there. Transient individuals, and then a handful of other tents. But and so when I was there, it was Antifa, was not really what Antifa has been showcased as now. You had people in block, but for the most part, it was just those people. But I was able to interview and walk around freely and talk to people. And then it was down in Portland, and it was in front of the federal courthouse, and it was the same thing. It was, like I'm behind a shield wall with my microphone recording the whole nine, and people were happy to talk. And then things became so exclusive, right? It stopped being inclusive. But what started happening was it started separating the groups, right? And then people like the group we have here. I know Primetime, we were in on that. And BCP, you were there too. We had that down in Olympia after we met up with Churchill. We had that lunch, and we had Behind Enemy Lines. We had a big group there, and one of the things that I saw there, which was it made me sad at the same time, is I was happy to know that like at least there's still a group there. But like, if you guys watch any of my earlier streams when I was with Concrete, like it was all of like even like Jared Huber, like the guys that are like, making these that were brought up on charges for like making death threats to the mayor and like, all of these,
DJ, when you get a chance, I do have a question about that. I don't mean to interrupt, but go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. But so that was like our stream team back then, Adam Costello, all these people that ended up turning the switch, and going the other direction. And it was sad because they started picking sides instead of doing what I think we're out here to do. I know it's where I stand on it. I know Villain was there, is like just to showcase what's happening. Like, because it's our right to show the world what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick a side and all that, but you can be supported by those that got your back, much like we're talking about here. And even in the earlier days, the stream team that we had down there was more or less to kind of keep us safe from like the federal agents or the police that were kind of targeting people in press. And then it turned from that to the people that were doing that. Then we had to protect each other from those same people that were like protecting me early on, and we looked out for each other. But there's definitely a community here that we exist in. You know what I mean? I think that what's cool about it too is that we're building a legacy of something new, and what we're doing here is it's really undefined. I think that what we're operating under right now in this world of this decentralized media that we provide, and people like Villain that were on the front line helping to promote that and to really be an ambassador to what we should all hope to do, which is to give like this real live, unbiased coverage with unflinching questions that are really going to make people think. And I think it's powerful that we all have our own ideology. We're doing it. Like we have the fundamental opportunity right now to change everything about the way we look at media. We have a way to change the way that people look at information processing. We can stop it from being a centralized conglomerate of bullshit to like these free thinking individuals like all of us here that are willing to go ahead and put ourselves out, say what we think, and be vulnerable, much like Villain very much was, and everyone keeps going back to that. Like, even to people that don't agree with you, like, allow yourself the space to be a real human being, and and let that be the connection that binds us to everyone else in the world. It doesn't just have to be a right, left, conservative, liberal, dim, rep. It's the human aspect of all of us that I think really connects us. We're all looking for people like Villain, big way, were willing to put themselves out there. Like, when I'm talking like put them out there, like physically put yourself in harm's way.
No, like literally, yeah.
Cheers. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, big ups to people like, and I've seen multiple journalists get attacked. I've had people, luckily, like I've been able to like keep people at a position where they're like, all right, like, should we or shouldn't we? But I'm like, it's probably a bad move for you. But, I still have to wear a bulletproof vest. I still have to, carry all the protective gear that we have to, because it's a dangerous world. In the world we live in, because people are really trying to shut down what people like Villain and all of us in here are doing, which is providing full access to the world that's happening out here.
You're talking about the marketplace of ideas. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. But
I think everybody's wanting to push towards that, to where we can come together. We can have those discussions, talk about things that are very hard to talk about, and to a degree, either agree to disagree or come to a compromise.
Right.
Exactly. No, the one thing I wanted to say about when you were just talking about that though is, and this is something that's, kind of bothered me since that day, because I, obviously this is like the first time I think I've ever actually talked to you, but that night in Kenosha when you helped put fires out and everything, and I believe you were still with Concrete at the time. And you weren't? Okay.
No, we had split ways before I went.
It was Mercado. It was him and Mercado that.
Because I always said, I'm like, that was the night in my head that I'll always remember. That, in my opinion, CJ, something about you changed that night. And it seemed like you were fed up with the way things were going, and after that, I seen big changes, and in the best way. I mean, you went solo and started doing some really awesome stuff, man, and I just commend you for that, because that must have taken a lot to walk away from a comfort zone like that, or at least that's the way I saw it.
You're spot on, man. Honestly, like Kenosha for me was like one of the most defining points of my life. Honestly,
I had to walk away from my own stream that night. It was that bad.
Yeah,
I was at home. I could only imagine what you were thinking.
I mean, it was at one point I looked down and I had like 90,000 people live on the show, and I realized in that moment, I was like, there are almost 100,000 people that are going to hear every word I have to say right now. They're going to see everything that I show them right now.
Yep.
Right.
And I realized right
there, a lick of it, except for maybe.
And
I
realized exactly, and that's why Kenosha and I have such a great connection. Is that I realized then, like, we have a responsibility now. Like, once you have people that are looking to you for anything, I mean, even as a child that trusts you to like protect them, whatever it is, like, we have a responsibility then to be someone that'll a purveyor of truth. And I realized
that was how Villain lived through his journalism. That's why every time I knew when I had Villain on, I was going to get quality, upfront, engaging material. Sensitive topics were going to be talked about, and he, like much people like to avoid controversy. He went right into it like a headwind.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Could we do one thing real quick, and then we'll get back into the discussion here, and have every kind of shout out who they are, so other people in other streams can kind of identify each other, and then also after you do that, say a short sentence or a few words, just how you would describe Villain. Okay, and start at the top with Brant for Liberty.
Yeah, everybody. It's been a pleasure being a part of this. It's really nice to formally meet a lot of you for the first time. Like I said, I'm really sad that it had to be on such somber and sad, occasion. But like I said, we have very difficult conversations on my stream. I cover a lot of what's going on the ground. A lot of the streamers that are in this call. Like I said, I'm very appreciative to have been here. Like I said, Brant for Liberty on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter. Everywhere, Brant for Liberty. And like I said, it was nice to meet everyone. I hope that a lot of this isn't the last time that we talk. So I would like to invite anybody that would like to come on the platform, have a deep dive or a discussion. But yeah.
We'll still keep talking. I just want to kind of do this. I know. Hopefully, you get better, Brant. So praying for you. And did you have a what would you encapsulate villain with? We'll keep talking after.
Yeah, he was bold. Like I said, he was bold. He was engaging. He would go to the root of the situation or the conflict in the conversation, because he thought that every one of those moments was an opportunity to educate or inform. And that's one thing, like I said, I looked forward to every time I had his stream on.
Hey, Central, just a few words about who you are and what word would you use to describe the villain?
Yeah, I'm the Central Scrutinizer. I'm the former co-host of another stream out there, the Wolf Neve stream, who's still out there. I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here with all of you, and I agree. I wish it wasn't under such horrible circumstances. Just want to say, though, that I think it's important, as we've all said, that we all get out there, we all look out for each other, and we continue to challenge people's views the way that Villain challenged a lot of people out there, and show the truth, and get the truth out there, so and show that we can all come together and we can all get along, even if we don't all agree on everything. There are better ways to solve the problems that are going on in this world right now. And that night in Kenosha, I just want to say also, I think that's a night that we'd all seen things prior to that happen, but that night in Kenosha is what just really woke a lot of people up. And it was that night that just was one of the most horrific nights, essentially, that brought people together, solidified us together.
Yeah.
That week.
Like what you said at the end, kind of does a nice job, bring people together. That was a good way to sort of encapsulate villain. DK, if you don't mind, just shouting your channel out real quick and what word or words you would sort of use to describe villain.
So I am DK. My real name's Daniel, or Dan, but I used to run DK Records on Twitch. I run DK Records on YouTube now for I'm sure reasons most of you guys can understand why I'm not on Twitch anymore. But that's now on YouTube, and that's kind of what I do. And that's where I got a lot of my experience, and that's fortunately actually where I met Villain was over on YouTube. And you know, I'm just kind of going to tangent a little bit, but I'm just really thankful. Like you know, I went through my own personal stuff I'm not going to get into over the last year and a half, and if it wasn't for this community, including Villain, I don't think I would be sitting here either. So I love all of you guys. I miss Villain, and I wish things turned out differently. Honestly, I really do. I really do, and I hope we continue this thing, like CJ was saying about how it's kind of our responsibility now as a community when you have literally any amount of people watching you. And this is something I'm learning right now, is that you have to be mindful of that and respect the privilege you've been given, and hopefully we all continue. And then one thing I really want to say is I don't want anybody in here to feel like they're alone. If you're going through something, whether you reach out to me or just anybody or a friend or a family, don't ever feel like you're alone. You know, don't ever feel like you can't reach out, because you got everybody here and other people in your lives as well. And
it's a great community.
That's where I'll leave it.
Yeah, and what I took, that's what I was just going to say. Yeah, community would kind of be another kind of description of Villain. He was trying to bring everybody together in a form of community. Eddie, if you could say a few words and whatever you need.
Sure.
Try and shout everybody out here. If you guys haven't watching the streams, you're kind of curious, who are these people on my screen or whatever? This is the people that they are.
Hi, I'm Eddie Block Films. If you don't know, on YouTube, Eddie Block Films live stream on Twitch. I'm just honored to be here, man. You know, Villain was a great man, you know, a great person, and it's just an honor to be able to say, you know, hey, done the same kind of stuff together, you know, and honored to be part of this group. Actually, you know, you guys are all great friends. I've met almost all of you in person, and man, can't believe Villain's gone. You know, like I said, I've only met him twice, but the 2 times I met him, he was just an awesome person. You know, he sent me private messages here and there, and just a great guy. So we're all
great guy. I like a good way to say it. Yeah. Free Press Media.
Hey, so I'm Free Press Media. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And I have a few words to describe Villain as. He was an idol, an icon, and and even a teacher. I mean, even if you didn't, because if you were not on really first name basis with him, and if you just talked to him or just viewed him through his streams, he really was a person to look up to. I only talked to him three times. I think the second or third time is when I met him without his mask, which was an honor because I kind of had an image of what he was in my head, and well, he exceeded my expectations. He always knew how to hold a conversation, and like I said earlier when I introduced myself about an hour earlier, is that I kind of wish I got to know him a lot better because he really was a great person. I really enjoyed talking with him and watching him on his streams, and it is quite unfortunate that it also kind of caused this weight on me to kind of realize that when I heard the news, it kind of turned to see that how important or how people could look up to us and what we do and how important what we do are. So what I would recommend to anyone watching these streams and the restreams is to literally go after your passions and do what you got to do. And if you want to be a truth seeker, like I imagine all of us are, then go out and do so. But do it at your ability level. If you want to push to exceed yourself, like Villain did, I highly recommend it because he was definitely someone.
Yeah.
To definitely try to take up the torch after.
Yeah.
I also don't know if any of us can, but we should definitely try to take up the mantle that he left behind. That's what I gotta say.
I like how you're doing it, and what I took out of that was push yourself is kind of what Villain was trying to get everybody to do. Don't just kind of settle. Push yourself to be better all the time. Thank you, Free Press Media, and thanks for the image that we have there also. Kate, if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm Kate Speaks on Twitch. I talk about everything that has to do with the three branches of government, and that's sort of my pathway right now that I've chosen to go down. One thing that I think Villain can be remembered by is his passion and love for society. I don't think that any of us really truly realize how much love he had for society and how much he wanted people to realize different perspectives, but again, like I said before, in a courteous and respectful way. I remember at the end of July, I was talking to him, and I said, I'm pregnant with my 6th child. And the exact words he said to me was, that's the dream life right there. You are living the dream life, having that many children. And I just thought that was so shocking that that's what he would consider the dream life to be, because a lot of people wouldn't have looked at it that way. But to him, family, community, and just, people in general, that's what he strived to do, was just bring people together. And I think that's ultimately what we have to do as a community, is remember that we may not always agree, but together we can fight a war. Separate, we're just stepping blocks.
Yeah, divided we fall would be another thing I think Villain would say. CJ, you want to shout yourself out, and what few words would you use to describe him?
Yeah, so CJ TV, Meathead, and Villain, man. He's bold, he's courageous, and raw. And when I say raw, I mean he was willing to expose himself to the world, and in that, I think, is where we got to see some of the most amazing exchanges that he had. Because whether or not he was overtly doing it, I think people just picked up on the fact that they knew that there was a vulnerability there in that presence, and that immediately disarms people when they know that the person that's in front of them is willing to like put their shield down and there's no weapon in hand and just let themselves be exposed. And it's a beautiful thing for me to see in all the streams of his. And like BCP said earlier, like I don't really watch, and it's not for any other reason. I don't really watch a lot of streams, even my own. Like the Kenosha footage, I didn't watch that for up until this last couple months. Probably 30 hours of. I just didn't have it in me to go back and watch it all because it's a very emotionally engaging and mentally draining. Like when you're out there doing that and you're streaming, like you're connected to all of these different people, all these different emotions, all of these different sentimentalities, and all these different ideologies and beliefs. And you have to leave yourself very, very open to it. And that's where being raw can be hard for people. And so, like I said, when Villain and I finally had that really good heart, it was a time when I realized that we're, like was said, like we're not alone. But, and the fact that he was even willing in that place, like in the face of all that chaos, right? Like there was, like I said, people getting stabbed, people getting beat. Even then, he was like, what are you doing to cope? Because here's where I'm at. Here's where my heart's at right now. And man, that for me was a big deal to know that the guy was willing to, that he was willing to, not knowing me on a personal level. Like I'd never slept on his couch, and we hadn't like gone to each other's parents' homes or anything like that. But knowing that there was something there that was a safe place, and I just really, I tip my hat to the legacy that he left. That is a notion that like this is a safe place, and you're amongst friends, even if we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, even if we don't fundamentally understand each other entirely, but there's a camaraderie here, and there's an adherence of appreciation and respect, which I think is powerful. And there's somebody that, whether you knew Villain's beliefs or not, he made that very clear in his presence, was that it was a good place to be. And you did feel good when you were around him. Like that was something, like it's been said so many times, and you're right. Like I hadn't really thought about it. Like they say, like when you're out around sharks, like the best thing you could see is a dolphin, right? Like he was kind of like that dolphin, you know what I mean? Where he was like, I got you, man. And he would ask questions that I fancy myself being pretty brash. Like I'm willing to get in there with a microphone and kind of get in people's faces, but I would stutter step it a lot of times. And he had zero stutter step. Like he would like face to face with whomever he was talking to and ask questions that they weren't gotcha questions. They weren't like loaded. They were genuine. And I feel like that's a beautiful sentiment for him to have put out there, which is that he truly was seeking to understand. I think we're wrong.
Yeah, like you said, genuine. Sorry. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. You're everybody's kind of thinking that they're on stream or whatever, and talking to their chat and everything.
I can monologue all night.
I know. It's all good.
I remember CJ one time came in when my battery died. We were in DC. Remember CJ? You came up and gave me a little push for a little bit.
Yeah, I do.
Mr. Bill, I just want to ask you: can I say something? I know you're going through. I just want to say something really quick.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
I just want everyone to know that it shouldn't, and this sounds really maybe selfish or stupid or whatever, but it shouldn't take somebody dying for us to treat each other this way. We should be doing this all the time. We should, for each other, because none of us know what each other are going through, and we all put on a good show because that's our job. But I'm sure a lot of us deep down feel, I can speak for myself. I felt that way. So I just wanted to say that it shouldn't take somebody passing for us to slow down for a second.
Yeah. You always try to make everybody better. Yeah. Tara, if you don't mind, go next.
Well, that being said, real fast, I think it's important. Real fast, I gotta say, like that being said, and I know we all can agree with that. Like, it's important that we go ahead and do something about it. Then, like, we need to set up, make sure this Discord is something that we utilize, and we start putting ourselves in a position where we can really do something about it. Because it's easy here. To be emotionally available and vulnerable. Like, I think that moving forward, like, this is powerful. This is a very, very
exactly.
Like, when you guys sat down with Prime Time when we had that lunch with BCP and everybody, like, to acknowledge that there's a group here, and not just that, but these are, I mean, you guys are all of you great minds.
Little breaking up a tad.
Breaking up a little bit. Yeah, but what he's trying to say there is
cool off each other. Okay.
supporting everybody, you know, like using this Discord. You know, I think our chats would also like to see more sort of, you know, getting together, you know, to have special guests on the stream, you know, even if we might disagree with some of their opinions, you know, feel free to say, hey, Tara might invite CJ on the stream next week. I don't know. Just
yeah,
trying it out.
and you know, to kind of just add to what CJ's saying, I use my platform 2 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Thursdays, more of like a competition debate style, but I have Roundtable Tuesdays where we get together and we talk about a lot of these things that are bothering our particular communities, things that are glaring elephants in the room that we need to address and talk about so we don't find ourselves having another somber meeting like this. I think it would be great to have
good point, Brent.
Sit downs like
really
that.
is.
I mean, and I've tried my best to dedicate as much of my platform to that. Anybody else that wants to be a part of it, let's do it.
And Tara does
I'm
a
going
great
to
job.
commit to it as well. Then. I mean, I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
going to make that verbal commitment. I'll definitely put in
I
much
think
more
it's
effort.
very important.
Yeah, Tara's doing a great job with her thing. I'm sure you guys are watching. I think CJ's watching. Tara and her friend that I cannot remember the name of do their show. She can tell you more about that.
Just on or off stream, though, I want to say that it's important that we take care of each other. And I'm so sorry, Polish American Brotherhood. Go ahead.
Oh no, I agree. It is very important, and I found myself looking back and rereading every single text message that I had with Villain, and he had messaged me once back in September saying that he was tired of being Villain Report, and he was questioning whether or not he was making a difference with his goal and of promoting the truth and helping bridge conversations. And I told him, I find value in your work. And when he had expressed that to me, that he was tired of being Villain Report, it from what we're talking about now, about that sense of community. And it's true. Like we do need to have more of a sense of community so that nobody feels like alone, and to know that what we are doing does have true value. And when he had said that to me, like I just talked about the community that we are forming and going forward. Like I said, it shouldn't take a tragedy for us to realize the importance of building a community amongst us. The speaking of Villain, the number one thing that I will always remember him by is his ability of humanizing everybody of different backgrounds and different opinions, even those who were trying to cause him harm. He still didn't shut down their voice and still gave them the opportunity to speak. And so I think that's something that I want to apply also onto my platform, is even when I disagree with people, to still not shut down their voices. And even when they're trying to shut me down, like, hey, I won't let them shut me down, but also be vigilant that I won't shut down other people, and really try to bridge community, not just amongst us who have same opinions, but to further everybody's
Cross
voices,
the
so that way,
divide.
ideas can rise to the top. And as long as everybody's being heard, like, I think that that will help with any extremism or radicalism that we're having, because it's when you're siloed that you start to develop more of a radical thought. So bridging communities is something that, and bridging together voices is something that Villain had epitomized, and something that I know I want to put forward in my platform as well.
And just to shout out your platform again, that's Polish American Brotherhood on YouTube. And Adam, and what's the name of the show again? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm my co-host for we have the TNA show, the Tara and Adam show.
Awesome. Yeah, check that out, guys. And I broke streamer rule number 1. I drank too much, so I'm going to let Primetime Patriot go on with his stuff, and I'll be right back.
You mean you broke my rule? That's my rule.
At least when you're out on the live stream and you drank too much before you started live streaming, big boo boo. But anyway, restreaming not as bad. Go ahead, Primetime. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. I just want to say, it's an honor to be a part of this community. It's a tight knit community of individuals out there. But I've been really honored to get to know Villain in the short amount of time that we did have together. And he immediately took me in like a brother and treated me as such. And the one thing that I really will always remember is that in a time of misinformation and chaos, Villain was there to bring truth, and he was there to bring truth out of everybody, out of every human. Like Tara said, he really was able to humanize the situations. He was able to get raw and real with these people. He was able to pull out the emotions and their feelings and their true heartfelt beliefs. That's really hard sometimes to get out of people in this day and age. And you could instantly feel it in a conversation with Villain. People put up a barrier or put up a wall, and he was immediately able to knock it down with numerous strategies of philosophy or logic, whatever it was. Villain was able to break through that surface, get to the mind of these people, and he was able to share that truth to the world. And that's so important with what we're able to do is to share that truth of everybody's got a little bit of truth to share. And Villain was there to make sure that not only was his truth heard, but everybody he talked to, whether it was the right, the left, it didn't matter. So I'll always remember that about Villain, and I hope to keep that spirit up of trying to bring the divide together.
And I just wanted to say, while Mr. Bill is finishing up here, remember, everyone, my stream, every bit, every advertising penny, every bit of it, we will tally this up tomorrow once ads are figured in, and we will appropriate those funds to the two efforts that we have this evening. Okay, just making sure so everyone knows. Make it simple for you. If you don't know how to navigate, you feel maybe hesitant going to each one of these sites. Or you don't think you have things typed the correct way, to simplify and streamline. We're going to streamline it and make it really easy. It's really loud.
And
Right, Mr. Bill?
I also just wanted to say that if you guys ever want to get together, I know a lot of you guys are in the Pacific Northwest. My home is open for barbecues or dinners, and there's plenty of space to have families if you want to bring your families. But I'm just throwing it out there that I will happily host and barbecue salmon and steaks and whatever else that you guys choose to, if you ever want to plan something to get together.
All right, everybody, airport tickets are on me. Let's go tomorrow.
I'm in. Hey, I'll pick you guys up at the airport. Let me know.
She already cooks for a crowd.
Come on over.
Right.
I already make it for 8 every night, so why not 28?
Yeah, I guess another. I was gonna say another 18 probably ain't gonna do much.
Not sure who was next. Was it Son of Hightower?
Yes.
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. Nice to meet everybody here. Thank you to Mr. Bill and Robert for shouting me out. Mr. Bill for the invite. I've met a couple of you here. I've had a chance to have a conversation with a few of you. It's been absolutely wild out there in the field. I'm not sure what personality or moment you met me in at that time. But I basically, I don't know why everybody got started doing this, but I know the reason why I did. I kind of got gaslit, and rather an emotional person who worked in politics for many years, and a police officer recommended I create my YouTube channel, so I did, and we've been talking about community, and Villain was part of my community, and to know that he was in the chat when he was in the chat and when he was hanging out, it was always great because, he was somebody who, he was doing what I was doing and standing up and asking why and finding out and demanding questions and trying to do so in a reasonable way, exercising our First Amendment. I know it's rather shocking, but I promise, guys, I will never take your guns from any of you guys or anything like that. My freedom narrative is what it is. And again, Villain appreciated it, and I appreciated him so much while we were out there. we had the opportunity so many times to have like just find ourselves in those moments and have that peaceful conversation, find that place, because that's truly where I'm coming from. People give the term FTP a hard time, and I've dedicated this last year to making sure that when I use that phrase, it's in reference for the peace. And it's always been that way, but it's just, again, we're all human, and we have a tough time doing this. When he was asked in my chat by a person some of you guys may know in your guys' communities, she's part of mine, AFPDX, what inspired him to do so, he said, watching me. And I've got another buddy in my community, Kenny Money, shout out, who wants to remind me that, courageousness is contagious. And it was just so awesome to have him in my life, to know that this person who had his own personal experience with God and was so willing to share it and try to have a dialogue in a way that would navigate us to those questions within ourselves, to find that. When we were met, I'd already been there, and I told him that, and I told him that whatever, whoever he is, like whatever I respect him, and because of that, and that's where we met, and to know that I had that part, to see the light in him, and play that role in his life, and then to be here with the level of influence here in this room. I'm not sure. I don't know everyone here, but at the end of the day, for me, the message is just very simple. And it's right or wrong. And he was such a great person to be out there, because he was that mirror, that person that you wanted to impress, or just to not even impress, but to
emulate.
No, it wasn't to emulate. It was you wanted to be part of his community, and to know that he was part of mine, and he looked up to me. It was amazing. It blew me away, because
a good feeling.
Yeah, because and I've got an experience where a lot of people don't. I've kind of taken a lot of black pills. There's a lot of white pills to have, but I don't believe that they're in this life, so to speak. I mean, we're working the best we can to keep doing what we can and bring light to people.
Son of a high power.
I am. That's what I'm doing. And again,
there you go.
That's so
right.
I'm gonna let
it was.
Look, BCP's out there gonna buy me a hamburger.
Yeah, no,
before he does
that.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say,
if you don't mind, real quick, Bill,
if
if I could be, before I was interrupted, at a young age, I was explaining that politics aren't about saving the world; it's about making money. And I'm glad to have known Villain Phoenix, because he was about saving the world, and he was one of those kind of, he was a good person, good spirit, and just to know that he watched me and he was inspired by me. That was amazing. And so I'm going to keep going out there and keep doing what I'm doing. And this year is for the peace, everybody. And so thank you for all watching so high.
Yeah, you can see Son of Hightower on YouTube. He walks around the streets of Portland nowadays, showing us what's going on there, and everything else he said. Go ahead, BCP. What do you got to say? I know you're
sure. Well, yeah, I started off eating some ice cream about 2.5 hours ago, so now I had to come to a restaurant to actually get the food. So I've been outside waiting 30 minutes. So check this out, you guys. In case people are tuning in or whatever and don't know who I am, Quincy Franklin. I go by the Black Conservative Preacher on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Instagram. That is the BC Preacher. So, like I told you guys earlier, known Villain about a year and a half. he always had my back. He was always looking out for me when we were out in the field. You know, and Son of Hightower, Common Sense Conservative, Primetime Patriot, CJ, myself, we've been in hostile situations. Tara herself, Eddie Block. I mean, most of us on here have been in hostile situations. And especially January 6th, it played a toll on us, the ones who were there. Good, bad, or indifferent, that amount of people in, whether it was organized chaos, planned chaos, whatever, there was a lot of emotional things in that short amount of time. And that's just one incident. You know, we talk about the Wii Spa, we talk about Chaz, Chop, we talk about Antifa and the Portland stuff. And when you're out in the field and you're in the middle of that, and you're having to keep your head nonstop on a swivel because you don't know what type of object's going to be flown at you. You don't know when someone's going to just walk up to you and stab you, walk up to you and shoot you, execute you, walk up to you and mace you. Villain took on all of that. He took on their ideologies, their philosophies, and he looked at this world as a broken world. And all that guy was out there to do was expose the truth, no matter what side it was, no matter who he was talking to. And he wanted this unity in this broken, lost world. That's what he wanted. While he was looking at his own self, examining his own self, he wanted things to be, he wanted peace. He wanted things to be peaceful. And he carried that weight. He really did carry that weight. And it sounds like he shared that with a lot of you guys. He shared that with his mods. Obviously, if someone's going to be on the phone for 8 hours talking to someone, there are some in-depth conversations going on. And that's just real talk. I don't spend 8 hours on the phone, even with my wife. So I'm just saying, you know, there's some in-depth conversations going on for 8 hours when you're talking to mods and you're in people's lives, you're engaged in people's lives. And so that's one thing about Villain that I will remember. The dude was very, he in a way wore his heart on his sleeve, just put it that way. So I appreciate you guys. And for you guys who may have your own studios and who stream Villain or who have streamed myself, the reporters who go out on the field, I thank each and every single one of you guys. Even if you don't like me, if you love me, whatever, it's all good, because the message and the truth of what's happening in our society, in the world, no matter what, is being exposed and is getting out there. So I thank each and every single one of you for what you guys actually do and how you guys contribute to things. So I'm going to get out of here. You have a blessed night. Thank you guys very much, honestly.
Hey, love you, Quincy. Love you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Quincy.
Stay safe, bro. You're welcome, man. CJ.
Yeah.
I don't like you, man. I'm just playing.
We love you.
Hey,
You're breaking my heart, bro. You're
One
breaking
thing,
my heart.
BCP though. One thing before you leave, man, I wanted to say though is maybe Villain's last contribution was to bring us all together.
I was just thinking that. I was going to also
Yeah.
kind of interject before you stepped off as well, Quincy. Anytime you'd like to come on the show, have in-depth conversations, that's what I'm all about, getting to the center of what it is like really, really hard to talk about. I don't really stream on YouTube, so we can have much more in-depth conversations. So if you ever wanted to do that, fully, wholeheartedly extend an invitation to you, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming on, BCP. Hey,
all right, God bless you guys.
Drive safe.
A good one. And then restreamers, thanks for shouting out all the live streamers out here that are out there putting it in your channel, your mods, and I'm sure you're all doing that. I just want to thank you for doing that. Hey, Yeedy, if you want to shout out what we were talking about earlier about how good Villain was at helping others, and shout out that link if you guys, the chat wants to donate there. Also, if you guys want to, the chat wants to help out Villain's dogs and everything. I love seeing CJ with his dog on his lap there as he was driving around. That was awesome to see. But go to bestfriends.org and Yeedy will give you more information about another way that you can help out also. Go ahead, Yeedy.
That was awesome to see his dog, but at the same time, it freaked me out. I was like, "Where did CJ just go? Is the dog driving now? Like, what's happening?"
CJ just turned into a dog. Holy shit!
The dog
made it
can
impossible to drive.
He's a
Benji.
shapeshifter. The dog can hold the
Benji.
camera correctly, at least. You know, at least the dog can hold the camera.
I think that might be the alcohol talking there, but
Sorry about that.
They were cops. He's actually a dog.
So good. Can
Real
I
quick
just
though,
tap
you see
into
this
a
little
sec?
girl right here? This girl right
Oh,
here,
you
she
got
met the
you
FBI
got
when they
freaking
raided
Donald
my
J.
house. So I
Gotta love those fur babies.
Yep.
All right, go ahead, Edie.
One real quick thing too, Mr. Bill. I just wanted to say is, Brant, you are the best, bro. Like what you've created here is quite amazing, and thank you.
No, you started it, bro. And
No, I didn't do- I
outside
didn't
of
do
unforeseen
anything.
circumstances, I merely just took this and have just kept
Beautiful
this in the
thing,
game.
though.
Basically, just
It's a
kept this in the
beautiful thing.
game.
And,
We have
yeah,
so
so
many
what-
amazing people that contribute. But yeah,
Yeah, one of the guys that
Twitch
just started
community.
it all. Exactly. But I mean, what's got most of us started in a lot of cases, got me started watching it was Steve from PT News, and Yeedy is a moderator on his channel, and it is turn to shout himself out and tell us about that link.
All right. I am Yeedy McEaterson, or known as. I have Yeedy on the streets. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Twitter.
Pornhub.
No.
Got him.
Villain.
That's only Jack
Only
Murphy. It's only Jack Murphy.
That's
isn't it?
enough. Okay.
Hey, reverse, yo. Come on.
Decorum.
Bring it
you
in.
know, granted, I didn't know Villain like some of you. I was just, somebody who watched and had, restreamed a few times. In some of my chat, they've said, that let's he had his emotions on his sleeve. He let people know it. That's what made him real. And to a lot of people who watched him, that he took the time to ask tough questions, wanted to hear what everyone had to say. He even would ask questions rhetorically towards his audience, and not just the people he was asking on camera, for us all to look deeper within ourselves. Another person said that Villain was full of life connections, with whether it be with people or what he was doing, and that also more people cared about Villain than he would ever know, and that a lot of people, even the ones that never got the privilege to meet him in person, cared so much about him.
Can I say one thing, Yeedy? A couple of
Yes.
times I have my chat asking like Dylan and Villain. We're talking about Villain. Sometimes people are saying Dylan. I don't think they mean to, but I'm just
Yeah.
want to make sure. Yeah.
No, Villain Report, or Villain Phoenix. But yeah, the links are, for his, where was I?
Bestfriends.org if you want to help sponsor his not his, but we all know that he loved dogs and everything, and I even gave a speech today, and after I was done kind of giving that speech in honor of Villain at the Capitol and everything, I had to go over and find the closest dog and everything, and just my way of saying rest in peace Villain. It was kind of to honor him that in that way. There, bestfriends.org. If you guys want to go over there, send a donation. I think they give you the option to sort of say in memory of somebody or something like that. Please do that now. I wish there was a way I could sort of see it on here, something like that. Another way, if your chats want to, I'm not sure when it's going to happen. Common Sense Conservative will let everybody know if and when they have kind of a memorial and everything, but a way that you could sort of, I think he doesn't mind doing it. I don't know if you guys go to my Discord and I've got a channel on there, put your messages for Villain or whatever, and possibly Robert's last a video about Villain or something like that. And we'll take all your comments and everything and present them to Villain's family and close friends at that memorial. I think that might be a nice idea. If Robert's okay with that, so that way you guys can sort of feel like you're kind of a part of this in the people in your chats. But anyway, Edie, if you want to shout out that link also to help the girl out.
I have shouted out in my chat, and a no-kill shelter is the best way to go, whether it be a cat or dog. But please, I am asking you this myself. If you are a pet owner, please be a responsible pet owner. And that means you're making a commitment for however long that animal is alive.
That's family, man.
Yeah. They become family.
I don't go anywhere
if
without Donald J. Trump.
And if you wish to help out a member of our community, you can do so. My Venmo is Yeety on the streets, all one word. Cash App is $ Yeety on the streets. And then my PayPal is paypal.me/Yeety Yeet McEaterson. All one
Sorry,
word.
Yeety. It's so hard not to chuckle at that when you say that final one.
I
Yeety Yeet McEaterson.
Yep.
Anyway.
I am the original Yeeter.
I am
You
yeeted out.
might have to spell that last part.
I'm yeeted.
YEETYMCYEETERSON.
Oh God! I dropped out of high school. I can't even pronounce what you just said.
I'm sure your moderators put it in the chat there, DK. Thank you.
No, I'm just making jokes.
I know. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, and this isn't something like the Red House that the left and Antifa does, where they're kind of collecting money and it ends up going in their own pockets. This is going to go directly to somebody in need and
Red
everything.
House.
Just like the way like I was saying, if Villain was out there or whatever, if he wasn't helping pet a dog or whatever, he'd sort of see that somebody needed some warm clothes or whatever. He'd find some way to help him out. But anyway, I saw Ultimate Podcast Report. How you doing, buddy? Go shout yourself out, and what are your thoughts on Villain?
I only popped on because I really appreciate you guys refreshing my memory. Like CJ said, going back to Chop Chaz, covering him, using Quincy, the Polish American Brotherhood for Summer of Love. My objective was to show people the truth that you guys were kind enough to stream from the ground, to let viewers formulate their own opinion of belief based off what they see rather than what they were told. And there was only one rule. You agree to disagree respectfully with anyone else who might not agree with you. It's really should go without saying. But just the same values that you guys have preached here tonight. But I appreciate the way Quincy verbalized. I always put text and would say orally everybody's stream names, because it's not like restreamers can be up 24/7 when you guys are out all the time. So the least I can do is pass your info.
Amen.
And if they want to make a donation, they're more than welcome to. Come on. But Bold is tough to beat, but he was a dumpster diver, and that's what I loved about him. And
that's a good
analogy. His mask was the neutralizer, if you will. CJ mentioned how he was afraid to use the way he spoke to interview, he might fuck up. I would always call him Villain. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Villain. He would do the interviews and he would be able to ask these questions, and his words were like water. Everybody drinks water. You know?
That's right.
Thank you.
So
Awesome.
you're able to kind of set those questions that maybe float the line that might set somebody else off with a different, you know what I mean? I used to be a therapeutic crisis intervener, so we studied a Harvard case study, and it says that over 70% of how you're perceived is based off body language. You get cut off in a car, somebody flips you the bird, you know what they're saying, you know? Or like a cop pulls you over, you okay, miss? Yes, sir, I'm fine. Well, you're shaking your head now.
Yeah, I was just going to point that one out. That was good.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to add real quick. One word I would use to describe Villain: fearless.
I would disagree. I wouldn't say he was fearless. I think he was. I think he had fear, but I think he had a greater importance beyond fear. You got to,
He didn't show it. He did not show it. You know,
he certainly didn't. Freedom isn't free.
In the enemy's, so to speak.
No, I know what you mean. Like at the Wii Spa incident.
Antifa, right in their face, and
but also still respectful, not right in their face, but he wouldn't back down.
Right, he wouldn't back up with them either.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that's why I say fearless.
Yeah, good words and everything.
I'll agree with that, actually.
Chrysanthemum, again, was a good friend of Villain's, and she's probably already watching on somebody's stream right now. But restreamers out there are people kind of appreciating what we're doing here for Villain. I think it would kind of be important to one of the good friends there of Villain to know that
there's overwhelming support for Villain the whole night.
Hey, can I say something real quick, Mr. Bill?
Sure.
We got 110 plus like pouring out love right now. So yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, just so you guys know too, Ultimate Podcast isn't going to tell you guys this, but he's had a rough time lately, and keep him in your prayers.
It's good, bro.
We love you, man.
Yeah,
dude, I went from September to September and took a break because I knew I fried myself. It's all good. At times,
I love you, bud.
I was out there physically
Same thing
because
with Central too, guys. We keep forgetting Central here. Central, you've had a lot of medical issues, so just hey, I'm the disabled guy. I got to bring those up, guys. I got to let everybody.
Oh yeah, exactly. If you guys can help
I appreciate
out,
all those. Go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
I was going to say that and everything. When Villain's out there or whatever, he would always kind of show everybody some love, restreamers, whether it Brant on his show or somebody else or whatever, he would kind of find out how they're doing, what's going on with them, and he would kind of, if he'd sort of say some nice words about them, he would, so if you guys want to try to help out Ultimate Podcast in his situation, did you shout out your channel yet, podcast? Ultimate Podcast Reports on YouTube, if I recall, right?
YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, but primarily Facebook and YouTube.
Awesome. And Central.
Central, you're first. Go ahead.
Bill, I just wanted to say I wanted to thank so many of you people for support and the love you've shown for the last 6 months. I've got another surgery coming up here in the next week or two, and this unfortunately is still going to keep going for quite a while, but I will get through this. I will make it through. I will walk again.
Let's get some claps in the chat.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Hey, chat. I just want to say this. I turned on the chat for now. Everybody spam hearts. Let's get some love in the chat, and let's fill the screen up with support for Villain. Let's absolutely just black out the chat with nothing but hearts and good vibes. Whatever emotes that you have, your support that you can as somebody who's viewing this and wanting to any level or degree contribute. Really great thing we can do is just for everyone here, just spreading a good vibe and just filling that chat up with, like I said, hearts, emotes, whatever you feel. Just an appreciation and respect for Villain Phoenix.
Chrysanthemum and Common Sense Good Reserve. No, I know they appreciate that, and they'll probably explain how much they appreciate it right now. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I just had two more things that I was thinking about that I wanted to say. In our Discord, sometimes Villain would pull out a guitar and he would play and sing. And the last song that I remember him singing to us was If I Could Be Like That by Three Doors Down.
That's a good
Maybe
song.
give that a listen.
Acoustic, I'm guessing, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Brant's probably looking it up right now, possibly.
And another thing that I wanted to say was everybody noticed how, or said something about how Villain was fearless or put himself in harm's way, no matter what. And so I just wanted to say that, or read this, and it is a guardian angel is a type of angel that is assigned to protect and guide a particular person, group, or a nation. And that's how I see Villain.
Here's something that will help you the same way it helped me. Just
What
don't
was
let
the
it
name
drive
of
you
that
too
song?
crazy. Go ahead. What was the
What
name
was-
of that song again?
What was the name of that song?
If I Could Be Like That.
If I could be like that. That one, Brent.
After we play that song, and then we'll get
One
comments.
thing though, when you, because I just wanted to tell you this, Chrysanthemum, because you talked about a guardian angel, and and once again, guys, I'm gonna harp on this, but when my father passed away, I have religious family members, and they said that my dad was my guardian angel, and the number one thing to look out for a guardian angel is the number 33. That signifies a guardian angel being around you. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and it's 9:33 at night, or you check your phone, or you play a game, whenever you see that number, you know that there's somebody looking over you, and then that could very well be Villain. You never know. And you know what? I'm guessing at the moment he's looking over all of us, and he is so very proud that he was able to do, I'm getting goosebumps saying this, that he was so able, even without him being here, look what he's doing. Look how amazing that is. How many of us can say they can do the same thing? And nobody can. Nobody can, and that's the unfortunate aspect about human nature, and that's why I was saying earlier that it shouldn't, not to criticize any of us, but it shouldn't take this for that to happen, but we're humans, and it unfortunately does. And I'm sure everyone here has lost someone and felt that very feeling well before this. And
well said.
Just learn from it. Just learn from it. That's all I say.
Yeah, well said, brother.
And before Robert says his thing here, we can keep talking after Robert gets done with his thing there, but I just want to give the restreamers a chance to, if they wanted to ask their chat, if they wanted to keep talking, we can talk about what ahead for 2022 with a little bit of a Villain twist on it there also. But if you guys are getting tired, I know we're on the West Coast and a lot of us, it's only 8:00, we can keep on going, but I just want to give the restreamers an option to kind of bow out after Robert says his appreciations. And also, Robert, if you can think of an idea that how the chats out there can sort of show their love or whatever, if and when there is a kind of a dedication or something like that, can they post their information somewhere? I'm going to give them the option to post to my Discord. If you guys, restreamers, can post on my Discord, or if Robert has a better idea, go for it.
All right. So I've been sitting pretty quiet, for a while. So, I have a lot of things that I'm kind of wanting to jump in on a little bit.
Go for it.
One thing I will say is that, CJ and Quincy talked a little bit about how they loved how Villain could watch their back. And for those of you who know me, I don't like playing with others very much. So even this right here is just very different for me to do. But I loved how Villain, when he and I would go out and we'd film something, we would totally separate, because I didn't like, filming with other people, because then I'd have to watch their back instead of, and in some of these situations that we've been in, watching somebody else's back gets you clocked in the side of the head. But Villain and I were able to split off, and we could always trust each other, that we knew that we were going to meet up where we were supposed to meet up later on. We could find each other. And I liked that about him, because I knew that he'd be going off and he'd be filming something different. And then I'd go off a different direction. I'd be filming something different, and then we'd bring it all in together. And I knew that I could trust. Like when people were talking earlier about him being brave, like the dude he was fearless. And he would go in and he would do his thing, I'd do my thing, and then I knew he could handle himself. He was one of my favorite people to ever go film and stream with, because I knew that he could take care of himself one way or another. He'd be all right. Another thing that I wanted to bring up was about Villain, was that Villain has created what we're doing right now. And being, the only other people that I know, and the only reason I know them is because we've been doing this for such a long time, is Black Rebel and Eli. We've been doing this for, I think Eli's the only one who's been doing it quite as long as me, and Black Rebel was right after me. And seeing this second generation of streamers and filmers coming out, like most all of you guys have been doing this for probably 2 years or so. And it's awesome being able to see all of you. And like CJ was saying earlier, a lot of us don't watch other people's streams because we're too busy doing our own stuff, but I did enjoy watching Villain's streams when he was somewhere where I wasn't. But, at the same time, it's cool getting to know all of you guys and being able to sit here quietly and listen to each of you tell your stories, and how Villain was able to bring some of you who've never done it before, who's never even probably thought about doing this stuff before, but you guys watched Villain streams and it kind of lit a little fire under you, and you guys came out and you started doing what you're doing today. And that is a real true testament to Villain and his character and what he has been able to accomplish, because just seeing the second generation of filmers and streamers come out, and a big part of it is due to him, like that, he has done a great service to this country, to be honest. Listening to you guys talk about what we do and stuff like that, and how important it is. And then my chat has been going nuts, thanking each and every one of you guys who's come out. There's been a lot of love for each and every one of you guys, and ladies who have spoken today. And I just want to let you guys know that you guys are getting a lot of support and a lot of love. And I'm sorry that I don't know all of you. I do apologize for that. I will get, I've been going through while you guys were talking and subscribing to your channels, trying to find the ones that I can. And I will definitely be doing better. I do believe that it's a good idea to kind of create something out of this. I know that Villain would definitely like that. And I will do better at not being such a lone wolf. I will try to be more, involved with a lot of you guys and stuff like that too. Because really, this network that we have kind of created, like doing what we do, we inform millions. We let the people see exactly what's going on. If it wasn't for us, nobody would know what was happening in Portland. If it wasn't for us, nobody would have known what was happening in Chaz. Nobody would have known what happened in Kenosha. Nobody would have known what happened in DC. Like, what we do.
The liberal narrative starts here, Robert. You're right. It starts out here in the Pacific Northwest, on the furthest edges of Western civilization.
I also want to.
This liberal narrative is spread everywhere. Sorry to interrupt you, Robert, but yeah, I just wanted to shout that out too.
Robert, could I add something really quickly too? Because I've been streaming you. I'm a restreamer. I never really. I always wanted to go out, but I just wanted to be fair to you and say that I have criticized your lone wolfness in the past, and I'm gonna go ahead and retract my statements now, and say that I hope we all can create a good family here, and I think that's very possible, and I don't know. I love you guys. Like, you're making me tear up. I'm getting goosebumps. Like, it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut, honestly.
Well, and I'll be honest, like, I've badmouthed some restreamers, I've always hated the idea of restreaming, but
I didn't say that. You did. Remember that. I didn't say that.
No, I know, but like I've always badmouthed just the whole idea of restreaming because first of all, I didn't know there was any such thing as right-wingers who restream. I had no idea. The only restreamers.
Not to pull you out, Rob, but not in Vancouver at that flag wave you didn't on that overpass. Matter of fact, you gave Mr. Bill and restreamers did a proper job.
Right.
Actually calling it out.
Right. And it took a lot. It took a lot of learning. It took a lot of learning and understanding what was going on. Right.
The common sense I would tell you too, though, and you are correct. Initially, when Restreamer started, there was no credit giving to where it needed to be.
Right.
People, there were a lot of channels where my chat would say,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, we found a new Portland stream," and it was just some asshole restreaming you and then calling it his own. And I'm sure a lot of us have experienced that.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, I wanted to say, like, I do appreciate you guys. Like, I have grown. I will admit it. I have grown. But I do appreciate you guys because, you know, for instance, when I lost my channel, for the last 3 months, my big channel was completely gone. And, so I was on this little baby channel. And if it wasn't for Steve, for instance, Steve restreamed and a whole bunch of people showed up all of a sudden. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is kind of cool. But like, I didn't realize, you know, really all of it. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to explain. But so I do apologize to the restreamers that are on here for any bad mouthing that I might have done in the past, and let you guys know that I do appreciate you. And honestly, if it wasn't for Villain, and this is the point of it, this is the point of all of that. If it wasn't for Villain bringing all of us together to do this thing right here, it's a lot. It's big. It's a big thing, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. All the streamers, all the restreamers. I appreciate all of you guys, and understand that Villain did too. Like, Villain would talk to me sometimes about some of you guys, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
That's true.
I have no clue
I think
who
you
this
said
person
that.
is.
You said that about me. I think Villain probably said that about me one time to you.
Yep.
Is it? I think I remember that. Yeah. It's like,
But I mean,
that's just-
realistically, what you've said, Robert, has been true for all of us. Me and DK started out on islands. We all started our platforms, what we do, our craft, what it is, your passion, right?
Right.
We all did that. I did it. DK did it. It took slowly tiny little functions like this where you come together and you realize, look, we're a part of a greater thing. Yeah. And if we all stick together, they can't cancel you, Robert. They can't get rid of you because you continue on. And that has always been kind of like the mantra of my channel. I'm the TV guide. You know, you stand in line at Walmart, you're thumbing through the little TV guide back in the day. It would tell you everything that's going on, everybody accredited, where you can find so-and-so. And what it does is it bolsters us. It makes us all kind of communally a part, like I said, of something that's greater. And so we've all started on islands, man. We all
Brent,
did.
I actually want to add to that because when I was banned off of Twitch, you know, I had $2,800 go down the tubes. And if it wasn't for people like Brant and everybody in this room, when I went over to my YouTube channel, people donated over $1,400 within 15 minutes just so I could pay my internet bill and my rent. And if it wasn't for that, I mean, I would be streaming out of a cardboard box that I bought my PC in right now. So, you know, like it's just, you know, the teamwork is really essential. I do believe in our, you know, our side of the pond here.
You just got to use their tactics against them when we know we're unfairly censored.
Well, I
like
mean,
you're talking about, Robert,
Brant,
when you
even
get taken down,
January
there's no
6th.
explanation. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
well
just saying,
put.
like,
You
for
know,
really
yeah.
vague circumstances like that, they can't shut all of us down without there being a class action.
And even if they
really
do,
can't.
you got all these people here that the second you make a new account, we're going to follow you right there, and we're going to support you the same way we always did. And
just like this, just like Villain put in really good quality work, and his name persists beyond death. Like, when you're that good,
It's
there's
American
no way
history.
they can't cancel you.
It's
They can't.
American history, man.
Yeah.
It's going down forever. It's never.
I mean-
it's never be unwritten. They try to rewrite history, but if we keep a community together and we keep the, you know, like there's so many classic Villain moments that will literally go down in American history. Like
Well,
the
I mean,
Lindsey
what-
Graham moment in
yeah.
the airport. Come on, man.
Dude, that
Come
was
on,
like the
man.
most
So
solid
Lindsay,
fucking.
that's the best 5 minutes. I mean,
How
it wasn't
many
super
people
violent,
just,
right?
just like, yeah, like get him. You know, I was so amped.
That's one thing you have to realize is that he contributed to American history and the legacy of Villain Phoenix and everything. And like it'll be a story you tell to your grandchildren. His January 6th, his testimony and his account of what happened and what he shared from all that. It'll go down in history, and you know he helped create that legacy for all of us to contribute to. You know, at the end of the day,
That's
and
cool.
we all need to continue to stick together because the community is what continues to keep history alive. So.
Does anyone know if somebody has access to Villain's personal libraries of? Because I know he has a lot of footage that isn't on YouTube, and
I would think that would be to the family's discretion.
Yeah, the family has
I don't
all
want to
of
push any
his
further than
personal
that.
stuff.
I didn't know. I
shouldn't
didn't know if he had like a secondary guy on his page running things or not. I didn't know. I didn't want to pry. I'm not trying to pry or anything. I don't want to.
Yeah, it's just.
Hey, you guys,
Curious. I do have to take off as well too, though.
I was just
Hey,
gonna
let me
say,
let me finish
if you
this
guys-
real quick.
One more. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to finish real quick and just let you guys know, because you guys are talking about like a memorial and stuff like that. There is some talk going on about doing a memorial. We don't know exactly what his family wants to do when it comes to that, but I will make sure that it gets very public to all of you guys and everybody watching on the streams and stuff. And as for the comments and stuff, Mr. Bill, I'm going to give that to you because I got a lot of stuff going on with the other part of this. So I'll give that to you, and I'll be more than happy to do a show. I know a lot of people have been wanting to say that, and I was thinking about maybe doing a call-in show where people can call in and say something, because I know there's a lot of people on my chat, for instance, that's been wanting to, that
would be
say some
awesome.
stuff too. So,
Good idea.
but other than that, just his family has all of his personal effects. They are in charge of all of that stuff. So it's really up to them what they do. But we have been talking about doing a memorial or celebration of life, and we'll give people notice too if they want to travel in. And then
Fantastic.
I just want to close it out with, first of all, it is pronounced Antifa. First of all, it is Antifa, and
All right, no,
I say
excuse
good day
me,
to you.
Excuse me. Okay, no, it's Antifa. Okay. No, I don't know.
I say good day to you all, and you all have a good day.
Thank you, Robert, for
You
coming
too,
on.
man. It was great to.
I added everyone.
You're
in
an OG,
here.
Rob.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert, if you want to, on your people's chat real quick, if they want to go to my Discord, I just posted it in the chat there or whatever. Don't send any Antifa people over there, at least. But anyway, they can sort of make their comment over in that Discord, the tribute to Villain, and say their comments or something like that. And then I'll print that out or something like that, or whenever it comes time or whatever, and give it to you so you can sort of let the family know how much Villain's missed. Unless there's some other way I can do it, that's the only way I can think to do it. I don't have a website or anything like that. But
We'll talk. We'll get it figured out.
We'll talk, Mr. Bill, when you've sobered up a little bit. No, I'm just fucking.
And I will as well, for everyone here that would like. I'm going to highlight this, download this video separate from beginning to end of this. I tried to not like talk over it so that the entirety of the memorial plus the video and all of the things, the audios that we shared and stuff like that. So if you'd like that, I can send it to you like across Google Drive or something.
I would like that.
Well, I streamed all of it. It started janky at first, but it came into its own there at the end. If you guys
Yeah,
wanna
I've
do
got the
that
whole
too.
thing on my Twitch, beginning to end, nothing over it.
But I do have to take off for at least an hour or so. Like I don't mean to interrupt, but I have to leave like now. I do.
If you guys are heading out, go ahead and let DK go and start shout yourself out one more time, and then you're good. I'm just letting other people want to kind of step out, but I'll let you kind of say your last piece, and then you're gone.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I have to go. I have Wilson's over here. He's gonna shit in my studio if I don't let him out. So I just wanted to say once again, I love every single one of you, and in particularly, I'm gonna use this time to just at least say one word. Kate, I do apologize to you, but we'll talk later, hopefully. But I love every single one of you guys, and I hope this. You guys got to remember, this isn't done. We're just getting warmed up for the next go around here, and like I said before, if you guys ever need somebody or you don't have to reach out to me. You have all these beautiful people in here. You have everyone in chat. Same to you guys in chat. You guys can reach out to anybody in here, and I love you guys, and I love you guys. That's what I want to say, and I love you all.
I want to say real quick. One of my people watching just donated $159
There you go.
to the
That is
charity
so amazing.
in Villain's name.
To the charity.
Really
Awesome.
good.
Yes.
Nice.
But I'll be on in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, if anyone's still on Central.
I'll be back in my Discord chat.
Talking to you, pretty much anybody in here if they want to chat. I'll be on in about an hour and a half. I gotta go actually make my dinner and do a few things.
All right.
Just hop,
Thank you.
hop
Be good, kid. See you,
I
brother.
love you guys so much. Thank you once again, Brant, for allowing me to be a part of this.
Yeah,
And
man.
it was really nice to meet all of you guys.
Most of the people in here, I just can facilitate it.
Absolutely. Well, you did a fantastic job. Be good, everyone.
Hey, Kate, you needed to step out too. I know you've only got 6 kids to deal with, but you sound like you were stepping out.
Yeah, it's bedtime up and over here, so I gotta chase a bunch of kids to bed.
If we're still on, feel free to come on back. We can talk
I will,
about.
and I appreciate
what's
guys.
ahead.
Yeah.
And please take me up on my offer. Come over, have dinner, whatever. Like, if I can facilitate that, it would be wonderful just to sit down and be able to talk with whoever wants to come on over. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, you're very close.
I see CJ's mouth watering right now.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
I'm not a bad cook.
I think CJ's on his way there right now.
He's ready to
Well, I
But
got
she doesn't know I'm sitting in the dining room right now. Actually, I just got here and I'm waiting for food.
Thanks,
Kate, be prepared to make us all a nice big juicy steak.
Yeah, I'm thinking we need to do like steak and salmon with some crab legs and some, garlic bread.
I'm there.
Party time.
She's the one thing, aside you folks, of course, that is making me want to come over to the West Coast by you guys. Let me tell you.
She's the welcome wagon, man. She's everyone on the.
She's awesome.
Well, hey guys, I gotta cut out too real quick. I put him off, but I've got a meeting with my business partner right now. Just got here, but you guys, seriously, all of you in here are incredible and legit. Like it. One of the things that someone was saying about Villain that I think hits with me and how I feel about all of you is like how you just feeling that he respected you was a big deal. That he gave you his respect and fealty, and I think that's a big deal. Just knowing that we're all in here, that's a thread that runs between all of us in here. It makes me feel incredibly good. Like, and that's genuine. I hope you guys know that that's a big deal for me. And all of you guys, legitimately, and ladies, I'm not saying, being very inclusive in this. Legitimately, I've met a lot of you, and I'm so looking forward to meeting the rest of you. But this is something, these breakout groups, I can't stress enough that like I'm going to put an effort to follow up with it because I think it's incredibly important. And yeah, like it's an honor to be on here with you all and to be able to share my piece in a tribute for somebody that I had a great deal of respect for, much like all of you. So let's keep pushing the envelope, man. Keep moving it forward and making changes and doing what I know we all celebrate the fact that we're able to do and helping each other do that. I did a breakout session. The last thing I'll say is out in Kenosha, and I had like Ford Fisher from News to Share, Brandon Gutenschwager from BG on the Scene. I had Kriston Harris from Rundown Live. And we all sat down, and one of the things that Ford Fisher said was that on the stream, he's like, we're not in competition, we're in coalition. And I was like, dude, that's a big deal. Like, we're not out here trying to like steal each other's viewers. What we're doing is building this amazing infrastructure of information. And I love the fact that all of us here can collectively help each other out. And I think that's something we can keep doing in a big way. I know I got deplatformed once back after Kenosha, and had it not been for like Steve down with PT, and even at the time, Andrew, like I was able to pick up like 15,000 people like overnight, from the 150 that I lost in the Thanos snap of a finger. But it was a big deal. Had it not happened, had I not had the support from all of this community here, who knows where I'd ended up. But so I love you guys. I'm gonna shut up.
Before you go, if you wanted to send an invite to maybe not Ford Fisher, some of us may not like him so much, but anyway, PG on the Scene.
I love Ford. I think he's good.
He's good. I just remember in Portland on August 22nd, somebody was saying they weren't a big fan of his over there. But anyway, yeah,
Well, his
if all
camera
those
shows
guys,
it, man. His whole
They
camera's
don't
covered.
like him
it shows
right
it.
now, and
I sent you
actually
a friend
anymore. They
request, by
think
the
he's
way,
right
CJ.
wing.
Just let you
Sorry,
know.
what was that?
Yeah.
I said I sent you a friend request, by the way.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm going to reach out to you, see how we can get you involved, man, because you have a wealth of expertise on the ground. And I'm pretty
Appreciate
sure
that.
my community would love to hear you more in depth. We've covered a lot of what you've done. So I think it'd be great, man.
Absolutely. I'm 100% on board for anything any of you have going. Like, I definitely am looking forward to having like breakout sessions, round robins, co-hosting, whatever it is. Even building another platform. I would love to set up even a podcast where we can do this like on a regular basis.
That would be awesome.
Bring in people from the outside that are looking to be involved that may have questions that I mean, the range of experience and knowledge in this group right now is incredible. I mean, there's a lot of tenured like experience in this. So thank you guys so much for everything. And please, anybody reach out to me. You guys, CJ at cjtv.live. Super easy to find via email. And then, of course, if you DM me on my personal or my Facebook or any of these profiles, I'm terrible at technology, but I definitely will like try to be on point when it comes to getting back to everybody. So.
Keep your Discord up. Keep your Discord up. It's easy to
Yeah,
communicate
keep
through
your Discord. It's a major tool. It's like the Swiss Army knife of communication, for sure.
You're a real one, CJ.
Thanks for making,
Thanks, CJ.
thanks for making the drive out to Trump Tower
good
that
night,
time.
brother.
Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely, man.
Be good,
You're a
man.
real one, buddy.
Absolutely.
Keep it up.
Nice to meet you, man.
All right, we can keep talking about.
Take care.
Awesome, you bet.
You're going to have to
Likewise.
manually leave the call too, because
Likewise.
Discord, like, even if you like close your things, I'm just letting you know so you don't like leave it open and have a oopsie moment.
There's that red X with the telephone with the X on it.
Hey
Chat,
guys,
it's
I'm
not
also gonna head out
hours.
to.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say thanks for including me in today's tribute in chat, and let's keep the memory of Villain alive and continue on with his work. Thanks, guys.
See you, Tara.
Appreciate it. And see you, Tara. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
Nice
thanks for
to meet
joining
you.
us.
How the hell did you
Polish American Brotherhood on YouTube, guys. Click that follow. Or actually, subscribe on YouTube.
So, I was just gonna say one last thing. I lost a brother, suicide, and like how like each thing like a cancer ribbon, pink ribbon, breast cancer, etc. I lost a cousin to like Merkel cell carcinoma. It's blue, somebody has red. So suicide is a semicolon, and what that means is though that person's life is ended, they still live on through us, and in what we're doing here right now, or what you guys are so kindly expressing, having contact with him like Rob did, or anyone else. It's holding true to that, and I just want to thank you guys for that as well. It's very refreshing for the community at large. The network that's been built, again, just trying to share truth and what's happening in real time. Couldn't be done by anyone alone, but in times of darkness, sometimes one alone stands above most, So, incredibly humbled as well. Wish I could have had Quincy and Tara on for that, just to include everybody at large, not wanting to negate anyone. But thank you guys for sharing the time.
Yeah. If you guys have anything else to share related to that, use the general chat that's in our Discord here. If you, I mean, we're all probably going to start using it more often now, but just let everybody know if they're thinking about other people or they have something that they wanted to shout out or whatever, use the Discord here to let it be heard. Is there anybody else that wanted to keep going, or you guys got to step out or anything like that? We can keep talking about whatever. I was thinking about talking about.
Well, I wanted to.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say this, that me and Villain and a couple of other people were supposed to have a really deep or in-depth conversation about why civics is not really promoted in education anymore, and how he was very, very much a strong advocate for knowing your rights and knowing, the law as it is written, and understanding what your basically like the way he framed it was like your duty as the constituent to stand up for in the face of darkness, against tyrants and different things like that was the overwhelming sentiment. But we never got to have that conversation. It was kind of at the tail end of like a 8-hour discussion. And I just figured maybe we could continue that because I felt like it was a very strong subject that he was very outspoken about.
I wish Villain told me to quit drinking Mountain Dew so much and everything, but I had to go to the restroom again. Keep going, Brent. You got it.
Well, I mean, my main thing when I was going to talk to him was like, an uninformed public is a very easy manipulative public. You can make anybody do what you want them to do if you can fear them into thinking they don't have a natural right or a claim, or at least the ability to challenge said authority. And that was a really huge thing that Villain was always about, was being super verbal and outspoken about declaring what my rights are, what I can do, where I can be, why you don't have the right to tell me I don't have the right to be here.
No.
And like I said,
You don't stand up for your rights, you lose them.
Yeah.
As one of my viewers says, there's no need for TV news when they have all of us.
That's the fact. MSM, whether it's left wing or right wing, they still have a narrative. Whereas you guys are the eyes on the ground. Just show it as it is.
By the way, we're the real fact checkers. We're the real fact checkers.
It's the sheep. The TV news, CNN. If you apply our world to like Animal Farm, written by George Orwell, CNN, Fox News is basically corralling the sheep, repeating that narrative to and
more like 19.
Not even given any. I mean, just know that they're going to be there to disrupt the conversation. Their main point there is just to get in there and just disrupt the conversation. How do we deal with the sheep? I don't know. I'm still wondering if we have a snowball's chance in hell in any of this. I'm nobody, you guys. I'm nobody.
That's not true. You're somebody.
Man, you have lived experience, man.
Yeah. Hey, Primetime, you were just showing that Justice for Jay video. Didn't they get harassed Villain that day? I thought I remember them harassing.
They did. Yeah, I don't remember which video. The one that I was just playing before.
Yeah, that was it was August. No, it was September.
October 13 or October 3rd.
Yeah. It was a Justice for Jay when we drove across the bridge and then we went down to the park.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He had to get picked up over by the food carts. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember everybody thought he was Antifa. Remember that day.
Yeah, that from a first glance,
Maybe.
I always thought in the back of my mind, in the very beginning of knowing Villain, before I had the chance to actually sit on a panel and understand, where he actually stood on a lot of specific topics. But there were a lot of times where he was so good at his job getting in there that you could tell it was fooling everyone around him, except for maybe the few people in the crowd that understood and recognized who that he was. And he could get up there and debate you before you even knew that you were in the middle of a conversation you're going to be basically having to defend some stupid point on. And then obviously the attacks and standing your ground, and then obviously police at the same time trying to, barge in as well. It just the dude was fucking brave. Very, very brave.
He set a standard for sure. Like, how to approach a situation. As a streamer, you get put in a lot of uncomfortable situations that you have to face your fears. You have to face reality. You have to face, aggressive people. But he set a standard for people. Like, if there was a challenge in front of him, he was going to go directly at it. And I mean, obviously, he was going to be calculated about it, but he was going to go and face it right on. And I think that was something that a lot of people could envy, especially as a streamer. Like you could envy that. I mean, I know when I first started, I remember telling myself, man, you got to go up and you got to ask questions of people. You got to break your barriers a little bit and go up to people and ask them uncomfortable situational questions. And that's where you get to the heart of the live streams, and that's where people really get envious of how good of a live streamer can you really be. And I think Villain just had a knack for it. It was like totally it was totally in him just to like, I don't know, like as a kid, I could just imagine him on the playground just being the kid that was like very direct, very pointed out the situation and got right to the heart of the matter. And he carried that, like you could tell into his adult life, and like it wasn't just fearlessness, it was just the ability to go over there and challenge the person, challenge himself. And
I mean, there was even times whenever like the Sean Fuchs concert, like a couple
yeah,
months ago,
exactly.
right? Somebody takes a flag from one of the people that are there, right? Villain goes over and immediately is like, no, we're gonna go return that flag. It was during the change between Tiny and somebody else.
Yeah.
And Villain wouldn't care. Like he had like no filter. I think that's the real thing, is he just didn't have a filter. He would say what was on his mind when it came time to it, when you're discussing a topic, because he didn't want to beat around the bush. He didn't want to be redundant. And that's why when I had him in my first panel, he kind of came off as very controversial to a lot of people, because he knew how to engage you in a conversation and get you really thinking.
And that's the thing, Brand. It took me a while, as a commentator, to figure out, that he wasn't on the left, he wasn't on the right. He was just in search of a human truth.
It's neutral.
Yeah, truth as humans is what he was really seeking.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of that is unspoken. A lot of it's unspoken. You have
He's
to
spoken a
hold
lot
it.
about his fears. I would say he faced his fears. He spoke a lot about
He
his
was very
fears.
candid
At
and
some
open on
point,
his show.
he was he realized for himself that in many ways fear was a lie, and he wanted to combat that and find out where this the influence was, who was in this lie, and who he was, and his origin. He was a seeker, I would say. Yeah.
The last exchange
He was
that we
alive.
had, the last exchange that we
wore a
had.
mask. Sorry to speak over it. Just say again. He wore a mask for his family. He wore a mask for the people that he cared about. And
To protect them.
100%, and that's why we're like keeping his information private. Is for his family. That's why he wore his mask. Exactly, Eli. 100%.
So
yes.
I also want to say real quick about all you streamers up there in the Northeast. I mean Northwest. You guys
Same thing.
see me. I've been all over this country streaming. I was there on January 6th. I was in DC in December. I've streamed from Berkeley, and probably some of the scariest moments I've had is in Portland. Walking through the chats and shops. I give it up to you guys. You guys deal with it a lot more than we do here in California and anywhere else. It's rough.
Yeah,
for you guys.
it's a whole new beast out here. It's a whole different beast, I should say. And guys like Villain set the standard. They were the ones who paved the way. They were the ones who set the ground rules, or made their own rules, I guess. Like guys like me, like I said, I got to know him through his streams at first, and then I actually got to know him as a person, as a human, face to face. In real life, and then he treated me like a brother, even though I only knew him for like maybe 6 months, but he picked up and treated me like a human, treated me like a brother, reached out to me, made the effort, and I'm not always the best about doing that, and he taught me that. Like he taught me, hey, pick up the phone and call somebody and chat with them for an hour and see how they're doing, and he did that, and it was like I don't know, he showed us
the last time I talked to him, he admitted to me that one of his struggles to continue covering a lot of these events and being involved was that he struggled with the idea that people were more in love with watching chaos than they were actually interested in him. And we sat down and we poured our hearts out to him like, Villain, you're beloved. Everyone appreciates you. You are, one of the best at what you do. Like you are, you think that, because you're caught up in this crazy train, which is just liberal hissy fits, that you're having to go and counter protests and all these different things that you're involved in. And you get down in the forest level, right? You're looking at all the trees, and to you, it just seems so crazy and monotonous. And people are watching this in the comfort of their homes, and they're supporting you. They're wanting you to have safety. And I've tried to reiterate all these points to him that, brother, we've got your back. There's so many people. There's a reason why you have nearly 20,000 followers. Like there are people that they hold you to like a beloved status. You're one of the songbirds of our generation. And it just could not. I couldn't get it across to him. He constantly fought with the, are people watching chaos porn? Or are they actually interested in like the message that I support here?
It was his moral compass.
Yeah,
At
that's
least-
what I told him many times, Brad. I told him, look, you can't stop doing it. There was a time he was
Right.
telling me he was considering stopping doing it. I said, you can't. You're opening the eyes of so many people to the truth that's out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just, tried to do the best I could with the time that I had with him on the panels to have really strong, engaging conversations, and I'm thankful for those. And, there were a lot of other people that were involved in those panels, and we didn't realize, how privileged that we were to be with him, a few more times. Lo and behold, what would happen now, but it just, it's tough.
I would always say it was my sincere pleasure and privilege to be able to bring this to you, whoever the viewers were, but that was only, thanks to the quality of character of those who took it upon themselves to serve, in providing. But then again, working as that network to then spread that spider web out as far as the reach could possibly go. Thankful to hear he had such awesome people surrounding him too, though, as well. Appreciate you.
And the cool thing is about what we did here today and everything, that person I was telling you guys about earlier that was kind of afraid to say anything, just sent another message to me, and she wanted to say something about Villain. She says, Villain was a beloved friend who helped challenge my thinking, emotions, and spiritual self. The world of journalism has experienced a great loss with his passing. We will not forget him, and may we all grow closer by his passing.
Amen.
That's what it'll do. That's what it's going to do. That's what it's already done.
Yeah.
You
I
bet.
gotta get going. As you can tell, Donald J. Trump is hungry. He won't stop barking, so I gotta go feed these guys. But thank you for having me, and
You bet, Eddie.
God bless all of you guys, man. And just I love.
Be easy, brother.
Eddie,
I will. Eddie, I will.
Prime time.
I know.
I will let you know. I will let you know when I'm in your area next. It's coming up at the end of the month, but I'll let you know before I get there. And we'll do our next.
I'm no longer snowed in. By the way, I'll be going to
You were for the last trip.
Yeah, I'll be in Arizona next week.
Going in another roadhouse.
Make sure next time we get together, you have your chair fully charged. All right, I don't want to push you halfway across the city.
Bro day.
Hey, dude, if you haven't been run over by me or pushed my scooter, then
It ain't real. I know.
Are
it's
we
true.
really friends?
Right. So,
See you,
all
Eddie.
right, guys, man. God bless you guys, man. Stay good.
Peace, Eddie.
Hey, Robert.
Yeah, I gotta take off too. I wanted to thank you guys all for doing this and being a part of this. Honestly, this has been more than I could have imagined. I don't even think we got to do a celebration of life anymore for him, because this was awesome.
Did your lady friend want? I know you were saying your lady friend might want to say something about Villain. Did she want to or not?
No. No, she's making dinner right now, so she's like, come on, let's go. Yeah, I just want to say I really appreciate all you guys, and I know that Villain's looking down right now, just wanting to thank all you guys for everything too, and he's gonna be a part of it. He made an impact, and that's the biggest thing about it. If any one of us can make an impact on anybody's life, much less a lot of masses. Huh?
I think Mr. Bill's thing was reverberating.
Oh,
God's
but he made an impact, and if any one of us, out there have made an impact on anybody's life, we did our job. And Villain definitely did his job. He made an impact on a lot of people's lives, and I've had a lot of people watching this stream on mine, and I know that everybody else who's streaming it too has a lot of people watching it, and more people are going to see it as time goes by. So.
Hey, Robert,
go ahead.
Before you go, Godrise, by chance, did Wizzy have a message? By chance, I know you were going to ask him if he had a message. I just want to see if Robert wanted to hear another live streamer's kind of message about a Villain, if he had one.
I did not get.
No, Godrise might know it. Did you hear anything from Wizzy?
Yeah, as he's standing by. Is Rob still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I was just going to say thank you for your service, and I don't think PT is here anymore. I didn't want to throw him under the bus, but you mentioned Villain, and though you two parted ways, always being able to link back up. Yeah, him and Behind Enemy Lines didn't know how to do that. They split one night. Gun gets drawn on Jake. He had, a bodyguard with him at the time, so that got neutralized. But they take Fairmace to the face, and it's a shit show.
Yep.
And they got out of what could have been a potentially really bad.
That was a terrible night. That was a terrible night.
Yeah. So,
thanks for coming on, Robert. We'll let you get to your food.
Yeah.
Unless just gonna check and see with God Rides a Harley. Did Wizzy say anything to you? I just wanted to see if Robert wanted to hear another live streamer's perspective of Villain.
Yes,
Can I say
obviously.
quickly?
Let God Rides real quick.
Go ahead.
Hard to hear you. God Rides, go ahead.
Wizzy, he wanted to, express his condolences, and I will let Wizzy
Let him say it in his own words or something like that when he's ready. I understand.
Absolutely. And Wizzy's got some things himself going on right now in his life, some personal things, and I'll let him tell you about that too. But I did want to pop in and say something about Villain while I chance. It was an honor to be a moderator for Villain. I enjoyed it. I find myself lucky. I'm just simply a guy that's a moderator. But I did have some interesting conversations with Villain, specifically when I was just driving and he would pop on my Discord and we would just talk about stuff and not riot porn or anything like that. He would want to talk about cars and he'd want to talk about his motorcycle and he asked me, and the guy didn't know a damn thing about cars and he didn't know diddly squat about motorcycles. And he told me that and that was cool, and I enjoyed those conversations with him and asked me about dogs, what kind of dog I had for the typical Villain conversation, what kind of dog you got, and I didn't have the heart to tell him that there's no way in hell he was going to make it from Portland to Florida on that Honda 45. It wasn't going to happen.
No.
But
We
I
all
didn't
knew
have
it.
So the main point I wanted to get across was, well, and I would like to say one other thing. I gained a massive amount of love and respect for Villain when he did his testimonial. I don't know if everybody got a chance to see that. A lot of people didn't. I watched him live when he sat and explained about his life and the things that he'd gone through and the turmoils and past parts of his life that he struggled with and still did to this day, is struggling with alcoholism and stuff. And he talked with me about that just a little bit, but not a lot. But I just want everybody to remember the good times. A couple of good times that really made me laugh was when he got arrested for stepping in the street. He was so pissed off that those cops had to
That was
arrest him.
amazing.
It was, and when he, I think Antifa was going to burn the Christmas tree somewhere in Portland at the center or whatever, and he went, and the other 4 or 5 streamers from the other side, they were all gathered there in a group and just walked right up to him like, he admitted, hey, I was kind of nervous at first, but I know a lot of people seen that. And that's when I realized the intelligence of Villain. I realized that even earlier, and Villain was highly intelligent. He had a voice that people listened to, but he didn't realize that people listened to him.
Exactly.
That was sad. Yeah.
He's a good man. We're all lucky to know, man. Can't walk past a dog without petting him. I don't care. Everybody knows that there can be shit going off in the air, bombs overhead. He's going to pet that dog, and I guarantee you, he's petting those dogs right now, y'all. So I just want everybody to make sure you remember the good times of Villain. You know what I'm saying? We all have troubles, and take care of each other and love each other, and that's the main thing I wanted to say. He's going to be
Amen.
Amen, dude.
Amen. He did a great job of reminding us to get some support our moderators too, like God Rides a Harley and all the moderators that are in the streams right now and everything. Whenever he was in his chat and everything before the end of it, or middle of it, I think I remember him saying, "Thank you, moderators. Thank you, moderators." And it just reminds us to sort of never forget to say that to the people that are helping out in our chats. They don't get paid. They just out there for our support. It's awesome to see.
They also serve the community as well.
Like I said, they're the songbirds of our generation.
Thank you for including me. Thank you very much.
You betcha.
Thank you for your words, man.
Hey, Robert, if
Thank
I know
you
you're,
for
you're about to
reminding
head, you're about to head out, Robert, and God Rides a Harley. If you want to do what Villain says on his way out or whatever, I forgot to ask people to do that on their way out. You know, as 2 words that he usually ended his stream with.
Villain out.
Villain out. Well, personally, my favorite thing the Villain ever said was, "I said good day, sir." Like that is it. I said good day and good day. Like that was it. That was classic for me, and I'll definitely never forget that. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for doing this. It was awesome. I appreciate all you guys for sure.
Appreciate you,
Robert.
Same here. Thank you, guys. Good night.
See you later.
Good night.
Yeah, rest in peace, Villain. Villain out.
Who else is still here? You guys still hanging out? Anybody else having?
Hold on one second, guys. I gotta. All right, so thank you guys for watching. It was awesome just sitting there watching how many people were watching this thing. I definitely just appreciate all of the support and everything, all the kind words that people had to say, and definitely my mods. I appreciate you guys. Like, you guys are always on it, always looking out for all of us, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. This was very different for me, a little hard. Some of it. But it was good. I'm definitely going to miss Villain. He was a good cat. Talked to him just 5 days before he died. And it was a shock. But thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all of you, and thank you guys for the support. It means a lot as well. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and have a good night.